Welcome back to another episode of A-Town Talk, the number one podcast in Anthony.
The only
one.
Hey, man.
The only one.
Take the top spot.
Yes, sir. My co-host today, Raleigh.
Yo.
What's up?
And our guest today is another fellow creator, Jaime Rodriguez, a.k.a. Jimmy Dukes Gaming.
Right? What's up?
What's going on, man? Thanks for coming, Jimmy.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate y'all having me, man, for sure. Definitely.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It was a last-minute thing. You jumping on board, kind of saving our ass. We didn't. It was one of those weeks where I was feeling a little down. I was kind of feeling tired. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do an episode this week. Shit just didn't go our way, and then I'm like, I'm gonna shoot Jimmy a message, and if he pulls through, then we'll shoot a pod.
Yeah.
And if not, we're not gonna do a pod this
Hell
week.
yeah.
And I told Raleigh, I'm like, whatever, dude. We won't do one this week. But then you pull through, man.
Hell yeah. No, I appreciate it. I was thinking about it because I was even like, 2 days. Let me see what's going on. Well, it's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You'll make it work, man. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. I appreciate it, man.
So thanks for coming. I know it's always a drive coming down here. A lot of people are scared to come to A-Town, but
Right? No, it was all right. I took the gap. I live in the Northeast, so I just took the gap, man. They redid that road, so I was like, oh, okay, not too bad.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
2 lanes.
It
I was like,
is.
oh, shit. Okay.
They still
There's-
need lights there, though.
Yeah, it'll get there, right? But I was like, all right, at least I feel safe.
Yeah.
They have that barrier in the middle because
For
sometimes,
sure. Yeah,
oh
that's-
shit, bro.
Hella dangerous.
Oh man.
I used to have a girlfriend that lived in Chapa.
Mm-hmm.
And, dude, I hated going over there.
Right.
Especially, like, when I had to come back home late or going home over there late. Like, dude, it's always scary and
Right.
fucking sketchy shit.
Dark as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they did that. I was like, oh shit, I haven't been out here in a minute.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
man.
cool.
But yeah, I appreciate the invite, man. That wasn't too bad. Not too bad
Sweet.
of a drive. Live in the Northeast, not too bad from here.
You always lived in the Northeast?
Yeah, man. Grew up in the Northeast. Yeah, man. Grew up in the Northeast. The hood part of town, I guess, what people usually say. You know,
Which
you
high
don't
school
get
did you
shot.
graduate from?
You don't get shot there. You get stabbed.
You
know
get
what I mean?
stabbed over
yeah,
there?
right. I went to Parkland.
Park. Oh, okay.
PHS.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Parkland. What year did you graduate?
03.
03.
Showing my age.
Dude, I was telling you, bro, you don't look 40, dog.
I wouldn't have guessed that at all.
Hey, man, I say that, like, I jokingly say it, but, like, I pride myself of, like, taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just, like, I always say old man me, but, like, I really do, like, take that into consideration. Every little thing. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm, like, washboard abs or anything, but I'm conscious of what goes into my body and what I shouldn't do and what I should do. So when people tell me that, I'm all good because I'm making sure I take my vitamins, I do some work, I eat decently, what I mean? I still enjoy my beverages, but man, like I try to make sure I take care of myself for sure.
That's what's up.
Some of us.
And then married, kids, stuff like that?
Yep, married. Been with my wife. We've been married 5 years, but together 18 years.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
And we got an older son, 9 years old, Zanderino, and my younger son, 5, Gio. And they keep us busy for sure.
Full-time dad?
Full-time dad, full-time everything, man. It seems like it's shit.
Damn. Yeah, man, because I've been checking you out for some time now. I don't even know. I was telling Riley, like, I don't even know how we started following each other. Somehow we came in contact, and we've been messaging back and forth for a couple weeks now. And I see you're busy, dude.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm always busy, I have no time to fuck around or, like, not, like, I always try to balance everything to where, like, I'm not too crazy busy and stressful, but at the same time, I'm always, like, I got stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I had come across you guys a while back because I'm really, like, I'm always trying to see what's up with everybody in this area, like podcast creators, anything like that.
Yeah.
I always I like following people that are, doing kind of stuff to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to, get to know people, not that I'm like trying to fanboy or just like, it's cool that people are pursuing like different things in this area. So I always feel like, man, this area is so small. Like, why not just, if it makes sense to keep in touch. I mean, I'm not everybody's cup of tea and vice versa. I don't just follow anybody just to follow anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if I feel like I can relate to what they got going on and they seem like people I can relate to, then, I try to keep up with them. And then after a while, then I'll follow them.
Yeah.
I just don't, for me, I don't follow people just to follow anybody. And I'm not talking bad about anything about anybody else, but I get this where, hey, I followed you, follow me. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not that way. But I can see what you guys are doing. So that's why I respect it. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's dope.
Hell yeah, man. No, and
Thanks
likewise.
to this guy right here.
Yeah, you help out, dude.
Yeah, you're there, man. Yeah,
I just show
you
up,
guys are a
though.
team, though. Yeah, you're a team. If something needs to get done, you'll be like, oh, what do you need? I got you.
He brings the beer, so that counts.
Hey,
You know.
there you go, man.
Nah, Raleigh's been a loyal one, man. So Raleigh didn't start it with me. I'm not sure if you're too familiar with how we started off, but it was me and another guy, and he still jumps on from time to time. There's a total of like 5 of us now.
Oh, that's dope.
And
Well,
we
4 of us.
4, yeah, rotating on and off. But everybody's full time, other jobs,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like, you know,
Hard to schedule and get
It is,
everybody
yeah.
at one time.
so everybody they just show up whenever they can. But Raleigh's been consistent. I think now you pass Booby, who was the original co-host, in number of episodes appearances. You're
let's
like
go.
at 20 some now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
He's
bro,
all, yeah.
he's putting in
We'll
the work.
We'll keep going.
Yeah. What about you, man? You've been, because you do streaming, you do a podcast, you do vlogs, you do jujitsu.
Yeah, I'm all over the damn place.
You're all over the place. So how'd you start into, becoming a creator, and did it started off with streaming?
No, you know what? I'll even take you further back.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I grew up playing roller hockey, and I would always like see people recording and stuff. and I
Roller
always,
hockey?
Yeah, roller hockey.
Oh, shit.
So like with wheels and stuff.
Yeah.
And I grew up when the mid-90s, when the Mighty Ducks was a... You guys ever heard of the Mighty
Yeah,
Ducks? Showing my age and shit. But yeah, everybody's outside with skates and playing like that. But I would always go out of town when I started getting decent, playing like on tournament teams and shit. And people always record. So I started like getting footage of me, playing, and I would start editing when I was in high school. And then throughout high school, I got out, and me and my buddy, shout out to my boy James Tame, man, he's a photographer, but we would make skits and we would just fuck around. Mm-hmm. And this is before this was before YouTube. Mm-hmm. So we would make little clips and little things and just mess around. We even had a little show on YouTube, and we didn't know what creators were. We just were having fun. We were just recording.
Yeah.
And like that. And then I just stopped for the longest time that I would just kind of record, hockey footage and stuff like that. But I never thought of it being like something I would look forward to doing. It was never like my goal was to be a creator. Like, I always been a creative dude, I always felt like. And, just through growing up and just being able to, mess with computers and stuff like that, I just started seeing how people were creators. But it was never like 5 years ago is when I started kind of like, okay, like I think I want to try it. I want to create a channel. Mm-hmm. And I was traveling a lot at the time. I was a traveling IT guy, and I would go out of town. So I was in the hotel, like I'd be gone for like 2 to 7 weeks at a time. So I'd be work 10, 12-hour days, go back to the hotel and just sit there or whatever. So after a while, just like, well, what can I do? I just started doing reviews on like little like monitors and
like
I brought like
and shit.
Yeah, just because there was one guy I would follow on YouTube. His name was Alpha Gaming, and he would just do tech reviews. So I would learn from him, and I was like, oh, I want to do that too. You know what I mean? So I started doing that, but then I fell upon the streaming thing.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, what? People stream on play video games and people watch? Like, what the hell? And then that's when I started incorporating that into my channel. So it just started with just for fun. And from there, I was just kind of doing it. And then after a while, I was like, oh, this is cool. I enjoy doing it, but it was never a plan. It was never like, I want to be a creator. I want to use cameras. I want to do all this shit. It was never really a thought.
And then now, fast forward, you're on YouTube. Mm-hmm. What other platforms do you use?
Man, I try to consistently like be everywhere, but I have an account pretty much on every major platform. So, YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook,
Twitch or whatever.
Twitch,
that's a game.
Kick.
Oh, that's mostly just gaming.
Yeah, gaming stuff. But yeah, I try to be everywhere. But my main ones are like YouTube is like the main one that I try to do, and then Instagram's like that. It used to be Facebook because of all the gaming stuff, but like when I was streaming, I enjoyed it, but it got to the point to where like I couldn't sit there and playing a game.
Yeah.
For X amount of times and just be in front of a camera. I enjoyed it, but like I outgrew it faster than I thought I would. I thought when I first started streaming, I'm like, oh shit, I can make money. I'm gonna be a fucking streamer. I'm gonna be on Twitch. I'm gonna be a partner. I'm gonna be a partner on Facebook. And through that, I enjoyed doing it, and I started building my community and get to know the people, and kind of building my brand, I guess you could say, as myself. And through that, I say this all the time, is like I found myself through creation. I would just like, whoa, I want to do this. Why not? I want to do this. Why not? I want to do this. Why not? You know, that it gets to the point to where I just do things because I want to do them, not because it leads to anything that I look like it's going to be beneficial or money wise or anything like that. I feel like if I want to do something creatively, I want to be able to just do it just because I can.
Yeah, and that's what I like about you, dude. Because I was checking out your content. You do shit, like you said, you do shit for you, not for the clout or anything like that. And a lot of the shit you do is pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
and it
I
all
tried.
revolves
Thank you.
around like, you know, your likes and your wants and stuff like that. Like I was watching your vlogs that you did with the CFC, and that's fucking dope, dude. And I was telling Riley, like, dude, I want to do shit like that because I love UFC now. You know, during COVID is when I became a big UFC fan. Before that I was kind of like every now and then, but now I like religious. Like I love UFC.
Hell yeah, that's what's up.
So
Did
like,
we just become best friends?
yeah, I think so. Yeah. And like, dude, we're always talking about that shit, but it would be cool to cover stuff like that because it's stuff that you like and it's stuff that keeps you interested, right?
And that's the thing too, is like when I started getting away like from the whole gaming thing, I lost a lot of people that just wouldn't fuck with me, and I totally get it. You know, they met me as Jimmy Dukes Gaming, the streamer guy.
Yeah.
And then I slowly just started like doing, you know, more of the tech stuff. Because in my mind, I was like, how can I start monetizing? You know what I mean? Because one of my biggest things, and I've already told a lot of creators that, you know, we all started around the same time and everybody started branching or doing different things and stop. My vision was, you know, I've always said this because I was older when I came into the game. I'm like, I'm not doing shit just to do shit. You know, I am doing it because I want to do it and I see myself doing something, right? And a lot of people and like a lot of kids and like in their 20s and stuff, they were all streaming and they were doing well during COVID. But once that all the COVID money went away, all the time that people were at home watching streams, numbers went down, people plummeting, people were just quitting the whole live streaming. So when I started seeing that happen, I was like, I got to pivot. You know what I mean? I wanted to get away from this anyways. So I started doing the podcast. All of them, my numbers went fucking boom. And I was like, God damn, you know, people don't want to follow me or, you know, what the hell? And then after a while, it took me like, fuck this. I want to do this because I want to do this. Like, I see myself doing it. Why am I worried about everybody else? But it took time to start thinking that way. Because when you're so used to having everybody liking your shit and watching your shit to where, like, all of a sudden nobody is, it kind of makes you second guess your decisions. And then I was like, I made the right decision. I feel like this is right. Even though, like, it doesn't feel right or look right from afar, I'm doing it because I want to.
And the podcast, how long have you been doing that for now?
So I'm going, this January will be 3 years. It will be 3 years. Yeah, because I started just doing videos with my streamer homies. So I would say, I was like, hey, man, I want to start a podcast. And, you know, we'll just jump in Discord. I'll record it. You know, we'll have some questions. And mostly all the conversations were just all about streaming. Because that's all I knew at the time. I didn't really get out to meet anybody else or talk. So after a while, it was just like streamer after streamer after streamer, which was cool. You know what I mean? And it was cool to get to know people away from the video games and why they stream and why they play certain games and things like that. So that was always cool. And then I started going to like conventions, and then I would just go set up in the hotel room like, hey, you guys, I'm here if anybody wants to do it. Nobody would ever want to, or one or two people, but I kept fucking doing it because I wanted to do it. And after a while, I was like, hell yeah, that's dope. You turn it up. I'm like, fuck you guys. I've been doing this. But it was just because I always wanted to do it. So I always respected anybody's time that people would give me.
Yeah.
What games did you start off? Like,
I was playing Warzone, man. Warzone drop. You know, everybody was on that fucking thing, man. I was trying to be a sweat, but I sucked. Then I played Apex for a little bit, and shooter games were mainly. But after a while, I was just like more open, like to play like story games.
Yeah.
And have more fun of like playing scare games and like setting up the streams for like jump scares. So if somebody like donates $1, it'd make a sound.
Oh, shit.
If they donate $10, it'd be a louder sound. You know what I mean? So I'd always try to be entertaining. I always felt like when I was in front of the camera and I started getting comfortable, I was like, man, I'll never be good as much as these other guys that I know. I'm just gonna be myself and be fun and just crack jokes and talk to whoever's in the chat. It's one person. I'm having a conversation with them for a whole hour, and I'm still having a good time and making content. And whoever's in there comes in and out, and I enjoy doing it. And I was like, all right, cool, this is dope. But that was like I was like, all right, cool, I'm good in this lane. Now let me add something else. Let me start doing this thing. So that's why I started doing the podcasting thing. I was like, all right, cool. I've been doing it for 2 years now. All right, what else can I start doing? And then I started doing jiu-jitsu. And then where I was training at, I was like, I talked to the head coach and the owner, shout out to Justin at Grind Underground. I was like, hey, can I bring my camera? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, I'll do some videos. He's like, I do whatever. And I got confident of like vlogging because I don't know if a lot of people aren't like used to just walking around with the camera.
It's weird, bro.
It's weird.
I've tried it.
Yeah, it's weird. You have to get used to doing that.
Yeah.
And that helped me in the gym setting get comfortable just recording myself. So I was like, all right, cool. Now I can start video stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have this expensive ass camera.
Might as well use it.
I might as well freaking use it. Damn. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's true. I wanted to do streaming when I was younger. I've been a gamer growing up. I never really liked Call of Duty as much. I played a little bit of Warzone. My games were always like Halo.
Yeah, that's what's up. Hell yeah.
Growing up, Halo was my shit.
Hell yeah. Did you stand in line to get it back in the day? I did.
No. So
Midnight release.
I would pre-order. Like Halo 3 I pre-ordered. I didn't stand midnight. I went like the day after. But actually no, Halo 3 I got it for Christmas actually. Yeah, I got it for Christmas. I remember that one. I got it for Christmas. That same night I stayed up the whole night playing the campaign.
Hell yeah.
And I would always go balls out, dude. So I would play it once just to like see the story like in normal difficulty, and then I would like legendary right after that.
Oh, you're try hard like
dude,
that?
In Halo I was. And dude, I was a fucking big old gamer. Now I still play every now and then. Overwatch has been my shooter for the past like I don't know how long it's been out. Started playing since Overwatch 1. But
that one's been out for years.
Yeah.
Too. I never played Overwatch 1 when Overwatch 2 came out because it was free on Game Pass. I started playing it because at the time when I was streaming, I got to the point to where like I'm just going to play games that are coming out, just trending games and take advantage of the wave and stuff like that. And Overwatch I was terrible at.
It's a love-hate relationship with that game, dude. Yeah. That's a whole nother podcast
that's a whole other
podcast. But now
You're on Xbox or PS2 or what?
I started on Xbox, and then I just all PC now. Just the master race.
Yeah, PC. That's the thing with gaming. Like they always say, like PC is the master race when it comes to gaming.
I went from like sitting on a couch playing video games on a big TV, to where sitting at a desk playing on a monitor on my Xbox, like a small monitor, and I was like, whoa, this feels like way different. But I was like more immersed in the game, which I enjoyed it. And then my ass got like better headphones, then a curved monitor, and a better chair. I'm all fucking sitting there. You know what I mean? I'm all super into it. But yeah, like ever since I went PC, I can't play on a console. Like if I were to play video games, like I just goddamn expensive ass PC.
I forget that PC's an option now.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. And I've seen your setup, dude. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, man. All community funded, man. Shout out to all the supporters throughout the years, man. Like $1 here, $1 there, subscriptions. People still have kept their subs on Facebook for over 3-4 years now. And I tell everybody who financially supports what I got going on, it goes right back into everything that I have. I make sure that I let people know, like, that $10 you gave me, it went toward this mic. That $5 went toward this lens. And I show people, and then I have, like, extra content for supporters. And because I want to make sure that a lot of people, like, take that for granted. And that's one thing I didn't like about the whole streaming world, because people were so used to getting money just from people all the time. And, I'm more grateful when it comes to stuff like that, because I didn't really grow up with money. You know what I mean? So when anybody was giving me money, because like, hey, that video was dope, man, I want to support you. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Like, showing people that what I said, what I was going to do, I do.
Yeah.
So every time I got an upgrade, I let people know, like, hey, you guys helped me get this foot pedal. I do a review on YouTube. I take pictures. I thank the community. I get a new monitor. I do a review on the channel. I take pictures. I show people that the money that you guys are going toward the channel, I'm investing toward the content. So I've always shouted out anybody who's ever just given me anything or helped me out, because it's helped me grow as a creator, because it gives me options to do more shit.
And you're doing this full time now?
No, I wish.
You still got your IT
job?
So
I'm an IT guy, Monday through Friday, thank God. IT's been paying the bills for the past 14 years.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So that pays the bill, that pays the mortgage. I'm not rich, I'm not poor. You know what I mean? My wife works, so we're okay.
Yeah.
So I always try to make sure that all of those is good, and then I can focus on the content. But the content thing is, a lot of people think like, damn, Jimmy, you doing all this shit, you making money. I ain't making shit. You guys don't realize I'm not making shit.
It's
right
hard
now.
to get monetized, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm monetized on Facebook. I'm monetized on YouTube, on Twitch. I have a Patreon. So I have like little buckets everywhere. But I mean, all that stuff that I get from people that help me, all the folks, that just pays for subscriptions. For my video subscriptions, little things like that. And that helps me.
Yeah.
That really does help me. So it helps. It's slow. I'm pretty much paying just like everybody else who's a creator that's trying to get out there and make a living out of it. I'm paying. I mean, I'm not really making money yet, but I think that's the beneficial for me, that I don't have to worry about the money. So it helps me focus on just me getting better.
Yeah. Just let you focus on the craft and without all the distractions and all that pressure.
Yeah, because, I have a lot of streamer homies, and, shout out to them. They're grinding 8 to 10 hours a day. They're streaming. They're putting clips out. They're doing this. They're making fun events for people to, sub on Twitch and all that. And that's dope. I get it. But I can't sit there. I don't have the time to be successful like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to pivot my content. And I was like, what can I do that I look forward to, but also like balance into my life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I have a lot of stuff going on. And I want to make sure that I'm realistic. As much as I would like to do this full time, even if I did, I wouldn't be making enough to pay my phone bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just the realistic of it. But being realistic and having that approach for me, it's made it easier for me just to be like, I'm having fun and I'm creating content. I'm getting better. So money's not a thing. If that comes down the line, great. But if not, I'm still going to do it. I'm still enjoying doing it, man. Because how you said about the CFC thing and all the promotion, shout out to all those guys. They see that what I'm trying to do and my worth ethic and how I go about it.
Yeah.
So I get invited to do events. I get invited to, to want to talk to people and things like that, which is dope. Because when it comes to this whole creator world, when I saw you guys, I'm like, that's dope. I can see that they care, the quality, they're trying to do something with it, compared to somebody who's just half-ass doing it and talking about how great they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not hating it, just the fact. There's so many people that are creators or streamers and people that, try to get in this space, which is cool. Everybody does it for different reasons, but my wavelength is different from a lot of other people, and that's cool. That's why I always kind of just, stick to my own. Like, if I gravitate towards somebody or they gravitate toward me and it makes sense, we'll keep in touch. If not, then it's all good. Hey, what's up, CUD? Keep doing your thing. Hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Not hating on what you got going on, and you could not like my stuff either, but I can respect what you're doing from over there. You know what I mean? It's all good.
Do you think there's been, because I'm like you, where when I wanted to start doing the podcast, I started researching and looking up creators in El Paso. I didn't find a lot of people at the time, dude. But I've noticed within the last year that I've been doing this, and maybe it's because now I'm more in the space that I'm seeing more people, but there's a lot more creators popping up here and there.
Yeah, I think they kind of always been everywhere, but maybe because you started being you're on the radar yourself now, so you're more aware of what the hell's going on. Like, oh, I drive an Acura. Oh, there's a million Acuras everywhere.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's how it is. Like, when I've been doing these events, I'm like, God damn, there's a lot of photographers. I've never seen a single fucking person. Oh, well, no shit. I just started doing this.
Yeah.
So same thing with the podcast thing. Like, I did the same thing, El Paso podcast. I'm like, all right, there's some people with pages that are just dead. They're not doing anything anymore and stuff like that. But there's a few that I'm like, all right, cool. They're still going on. All right, cool. I can see what they're doing. And then I try to just follow them and see what they got going on, just because, you want to support local.
Yeah.
I mean, not every podcast that I've seen is like kind of my content, but I could see what they're trying to do, and I could respect it.
What other creators have you collaborated with? I know you did Bros Monroe recently, right?
Yeah, shout out to those guys, man. Those guys were cool, man. I know that they have a lot of episodes. They've had a lot of guests, and the camaraderie and their content is cool. Like, I get it. I mean, a lot of people don't, and I could respect it because I was even talking to Clay because we're more like, journey, like positive things and like that. But sometimes it's like different, platforms and different shows and things and different personalities. It's cool seeing that because it's not always has to be all positive. So maybe you just joke around and
sometimes you gotta shoot the shit.
Yes, you know what I mean? And that's more like, I've been more open to do that more than me more like, I'm on a mission, you're on a mission, and we're on a mission together, But just more like having these conversations, shooting the shit, having a fucking beer and, getting to know people.
Yeah. I feel like our content is a mixture of that because I try to get as many guests as possible, but sometimes we just don't.
Yeah.
So we do what we call the bros episodes, and it's just us
Yeah.
fucking around. And a lot of those times, those episodes are just pointless conversations.
Yeah.
you know?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, just us. Especially early on, we would just keep drinking, getting drunk.
Just
on
rambling
camera.
and
Yeah.
talking shit.
That's all it was.
We've learned to kind of tone it back a bit. We don't get that drunk anymore.
Yeah. Because sometimes you look back at it like, it's
Yeah.
kind of a bad look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we'd kill maybe like 20, 30 beers, and like the 2 hours are like we're recording, you know, and it's only like 3, 4 of us.
and then we're like, what the fuck did we
Look
talk
at
about?
animals.
Time
You go
goes-
back and you're editing like, what the fuck? We were rambling for like 30 minutes on the
time
same
flies
subject.
by, then it, like we're just rewatching the episodes, and we're just like, you just see each one of us just get up, go to
For
the
pee
bathroom.
breaks.
Go to the pee breaks, just-
Break the seal. You're like, shit.
So we've
It's
evolved in
constant.
that sense where we try to be a little more professional. I think that we still stay true to our roots where it's like a very relaxed environment. Like we're just here to hang out.
Yeah.
But I can see that, man. And even I, from the beginning, I'm like, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Yep.
You know, our content is very specific to certain people. But, you know, we're kind of leaning into the niche where, you know, we're Anthony. We're like way out here in the buttfuck nowhere. But then we're being able to highlight and spotlight people from our area,
Hell
which
yeah.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. I enjoy when we have those episodes. Anytime we have a guest, I'm like, fuck yeah, because it's a learning experience for me, especially if it's like an entrepreneur or somebody in the similar space. Like I was really excited to get you on because, you know, you've been doing this for a while and you kind of did the thing where you come in, you started like geeking out and stuff. And
Yeah,
I
I'm a
do that
nerd.
whenever I go do other podcasts that I've gone. I started looking at their camera setups and like,
Yeah.
all right, what are they doing? Because like it's like, what can I take from
Yes.
this shit?
Well, that's a lot of the things too is just like bouncing ideas off each other with like like-minded people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? All it is like, it's just like, hey, what do you do? I do this, I do that. Ah, cool. You think about this? Like, I've always either learned something from somebody or I taught somebody something, or not taught, more just like, hey, have you thought of this? Oh no, and I'll look into that, or vice versa. And I think that's the best thing about the creator space when you meet the right type of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's like how you said, the cup of tea, and it takes a lot of time. People like get so caught up in thinking they want to do one thing, or they think they got to do this or whatever. And I'm glad you said that. You know what? Like, we're more like sticking to our roots and stuff like that. And I like how you said that because you have to be yourself. You have to be yourself, and
They
when-
see right through it.
yeah,
The people see
eventually,
it.
like
Yeah.
people like
Yeah.
will just like, yeah, dude, that's your persona. You're acting fake or whatever. And like I've always said, I'm always myself everywhere I go. Obviously, I need to be like dad or at work, but even then, like I'm pretty much myself all the time. I don't have to like flip a switch for persona or things like that. That's just me. So I always say like, you do you. You do you the best.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're always yourself, it's easy. You know what I mean? Is everybody gonna like you? Probably not. You know what I mean? But if you're always being yourself, the right people will like you. And if they don't, hey, it's all good. You know, I'm not taking it personal. If you don't like me and you think I'm trash, then by all means, you think I'm trash, it's not gonna bother me, and that's your opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stand on my fucking hill, be like, no, my shit's dope. You ever see you know how much
Love
work
me.
you know how much work I put into it? Like when people start defending themselves like that, I was like, whoa, you know, like you might like think you're doing it for the wrong reason if you're getting upset if somebody's calling you trash. Like it shouldn't even matter.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
And how's the support at home with like your wife and your kids and stuff like that?
Oh, my kids all want to be freaking streamers and creators and shit like that. But you know, with all honesty, like when I first started streaming, I wasn't working at the time because during COVID I lost my job and I was going in on the streaming thing. And you know, me and my wife, we were butting heads a lot. You know, we really were. And I've talked about this many times in other podcasts. And you know, I always tell people, if you start getting into anything that's extra, away from like the norm and things like that, communication with your partner or your family or significant other is big. Because I didn't know how to communicate that in the beginning. Like my first year of streaming, I was just like, fucking leave me alone, close the door, I'm streaming, I'm trying to pursue this. That wasn't the best way to do it. I thought I saw everybody else doing it that way, and I felt like that's how I needed to do it. So at first my wife was like, you're in there for like 6-7 hours a day with the door closed. You know,
What are you doing?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Why are you sweating?
Right? Playing video games and shit like that. But, you know, after like a year and a half, when I was like, okay, I see myself doing this more. And at home is not, we're butting heads for the littlest things, and it's like tooth and nail to like get time to do stuff and things like that. But it took my wife and I talking about it uncomfortably to where like she's like, "What are you doing? Like you're just playing video games," and like she didn't understand what I was trying to do, and neither did I. And with all fairness,
You're trying to figure it out.
I was trying to figure it out. But after like a year and a half in that year too, I was more like, all right, I want to pursue creation somehow. It's not going to pay the bills. How can I do this without disrupting what we got going on? I got my job. That I need to keep that. I'm married. I have my kids. I need to make sure that that's all good. So I had to start getting used to juggling and like pulling back from the streaming. And that's one of the reasons that I stopped streaming as much, because I can't sit there for 3 or 4, even if it was like a short stream. Like for me, a short stream is like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Dude, the gaming world is crazy, bro.
So like to be successful, be successful in that realm, like you have to be streaming, live stream for X amount of time, because you want people to be coming in throughout your stream. So if you're only streaming for an hour or two, it's kind of hard. So once I started realizing that live streaming wasn't going to be the future, and I was like doing more of the podcast and be more communicative with my wife, we were trying to figure things out like within reason. Like I was more understanding, like I'm going balls in on all this shit, and it's not even going to lead to anything, or I don't even know financially and all this stuff, and I'm putting stress on my family and not being there for my kids and things like that. Not that I was a bad father or a bad husband. It was just like we were in ruts and we just didn't know how to communicate. Yeah. She didn't see what I was trying to do, and I didn't know how to explain what I was trying to do. So I always tell my friends, and if your significant other, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, whoever you live with, whatever, if they see what you're trying to do and you explain to them that this is important to me, this is what I'm trying to do, if they respect you, they'll understand. They might not support you or understand, but if you show them what you're trying to do and still doing everything else right, then it's easier to get through with it. Because after a while, my wife was like, all right, everything else is good. I can't give him a hard time for him trying to pursue this. That makes sense. He's serious about it. He really wants to do this. Then that's when it was easier. So for the past 3 years, I've been more in my mode, like, all right, I know what I want to do and I know what I don't want to do.
And it's almost even better for you, because if, things are good with your wife, then that's one less thing you got to worry about, right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, for me, and like, we've been together for 18 years.
Were you guys like high school sweethearts type of shit?
No, like out of high school, like we met when we were 21. So I was like at my craziest. I was at my craziest.
What was young Jimmy doing at the time?
Oh, man, I was drinking all the time. I was out all the time. Like,
Cincy?
Right? Yeah, dude. Juarez, when it was safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But not like I was like a drunk, but I would just like partying and hanging out was a priority. I was going to school.
That's El Paso, dude.
Yeah, you know, that was my priority at that time, and hanging out and playing hockey, going to hockey tournaments, running on my credit card to go play in tournaments and shit like that. That was like more of like what I was about. When I met her, she was a complete opposite of what the hell I was. She didn't really ever go out, you know what I mean? She didn't really have a lot of friends. She didn't really drink. And I was like, why the hell do I like this girl? You know what I mean? And that was the balance that I needed at the time, because at that time in my life, I was all over the place. And just meeting her and talking to her kind of balanced, because she was a homebody and I got her out.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was always going out, so it kept me at home or doing stuff with her.
Yeah.
So it was always cool, because I didn't realize how much she helped me at the time, and vice versa. Like, we were both like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Now, what are your opinions on this and opinions on that? It was weird, because we were like clicking on a lot of different levels. Like, God damn it, I'm going to marry this fucking girl. God damn it. You know what I mean? But it wasn't really that. It really was like that when I met her, because we were complete opposites, but it worked out. It really was. But it's one of the biggest things that me and her always have is just that communication. Uncomfortable communication. Ongoing. Our
so hard, man.
Marriage is not perfect still, but we're fucking 99% happy a lot of the time. That 1% is because maybe we don't communicate, or maybe we assume or think certain things and we don't say it the right way or mean it the right way, and we always get through those hurdles. So I always tell people, if you get into the space, make sure everything else is good. You know what I mean? Make everything, like one thing I've always learned from other people, that are musicians, tattoo artists, business owners. They say make sure you have everything else good, so this way you can, when you go to focus on that, how you said, you don't have to worry about that. Everything's good at home, everything's good at work, everything's good with my kids, everything's good wherever it needs to. I could focus on this and not have to worry or feel guilty.
Easier than,
Yeah,
the day, I guess.
Yeah, dude, I agree with that. I've had episodes where I got shit going on in my personal life, and I'm just not dialed in, you know, because like I can't. Like we're human, you know, and it's always when I got my shit behind the cameras figured out, then when I'm on the camera, that's when I can relax and I can be myself and not have to worry about that. Let's talk about your brand, dude, because you're wearing a hat, pretty dope ass hat.
Yeah.
Your hoodie, is that part of your brand as well?
No, man. No? Shout out to, actually, I wore this on purpose because it started, you know, sweater weather.
Yeah. Sweater weather.
Sweater weather. Sweater weather. I work from home, so I'm like, I wake up in the morning, I'm wearing long sleeve, I put a hoodie on and shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, shout out to Versatile Breed out of Connecticut. Streamer homies that I met through Facebook, and they stopped streaming, and then they started a clothing brand.
Oh, hell yeah.
They started a clothing brand called Versatile Breed, and they started, you know, doing that. And, you know, they sent me out a sweater like in the summer. I was like, bitch, it's summer. It's like, it's the last small. I'll fucking take it. So shout out to them. But yeah, man, like with the whole branding thing, you know, it felt weird wearing, like how you guys are wearing the hats and stuff. It felt weird because everybody's like, Jimmy Dukes Gaming, like, what the fuck? I'm like, you know what I mean? Just like, but I just like, this is my brand and this is who I am. And, you know, I'm trying to pursue this. In different ways, and just I'm proud to wear my shit, and you know a lot of people don't get it, which is cool, but I don't really push the brand. I just use it more as a billboard in marketing. So I give my friends hats, or they'll buy stuff and they wear it and people ask, and that's all it is. Like, it's not really like I'm trying to make money off of that, but it's more like it's like a poster everywhere, you know.
Branding is kind of everything if in this space, dude, and that's something that we kind of stumbled upon by accident, but been learning through it, and yeah, it has, like, your content, it has to be like branded content, dude, because then that's what people see. And we give away a lot of merch, dude. Honestly, we don't make a lot of money off of merch. Every now and then. Do you have like a shop or anything like that?
No, so I have a website that does everything. I haven't got, because at first I did like our first merch drop like 3 years ago. So I paid everything up front. I did pre-orders. Then I was like, yeah, I'm not at that point as much as I think I want to be, to where I could have like a couple shirts just sitting there. You know what I mean? I don't have hundreds of dollars where I can just have stuff just sit there. So I have like just a store through a software that I have, and you have a storefront and whatever, and it just made to order. Okay. It makes it easy. Like, I make a small percentage, but I still, it helps me, but like I said, I don't even make that much money off of that, and I don't put it at a high amount. Yeah. Just like, if you want to buy a hat, hey man, I appreciate it. It's $20, and you pay for the shipping, it's $25, and I get $4 or $5 maybe from it. But if you want to wear it, and you know, I appreciate it. You know, and I give shit out all the time too. But yeah, it's more like just putting it out there. Yeah. And feeling confident wearing it, and the people like, oh yeah, my boy Jimmy has a podcast, check him out. He does this, he does that. And I go to these fights, or I'm at the training at the gym, and people are like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, it's my shit. They're like, all right, cool, I'll go buy a shirt. I'm like, oh, dope. So it's just more like just putting it out there and feeling confident wearing it and talking about it. Because a lot of people, when they start like their channels or things like that, that's a big thing. Like the branding and stuff like that. Not to say that you have to have merch, but it helps.
It does.
You know, it really does. I mean,
like you said, it's free advertisement.
Yeah, it's all it is, man. My dad wears a shirt, and he's like, like, Jimmy Dukes Gaming. Oh yeah, it's my son. And he's like, what is it? Where's the channel? I don't know. It's just Jimmy Dukes Gaming. You know what I mean? But people ask, and they just see it, so that's all it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For us, it's been like, you know, people will tag us on Instagram or something. Just today we had one of our, actually Bree, she's been on the pod with us. She wore her hat that we gave her, and because she's always giving us, she does salsas and she does meal preps. And the last time we were at the farmer's market together, we gave her a hat. She hooked us up with some salsa, and she like wore it today, and she tagged us on it. And it's always stuff like that. Like whenever people buy our stuff, they'll tag us, and then that's just like word of mouth. Yep. But that's pretty cool. Do you come up with all your designs and all that? Or?
Yeah, so I make everything. And I've always prided myself. That's another thing too, that it's hard, but I'm a one-man army. Yeah. I reply to everybody on all my platforms. I create my own logos. I edit all my shit. A I take all my stuff everywhere out of town. I set up all my stuff. So like I pride myself on that work ethic and being a one-man army. It's tough.
It's a grind, bro.
Yeah, but I pride myself on it. So when people see me setting up and doing shit, like, you're doing this shit all by yourself? I'm like, yep. I'm built different. But I'm just saying, like, if that's what it takes to be successful or, like, to put on a good product or, you know, to show people how serious I am, they can see what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I don't have to say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. I just do shit, and then people are like, oh, damn. I'm all, yeah, I'm just what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? I'm not ever to be the one to brag or, you know, I'm not a person to say, hey, go check me out. Go follow me, follow here. And like, I'm not like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do, but I'm not like that compared to a lot of creators. Like everybody just like, hey, follow me and I'll follow you. You follow them. Hey, follow this person, follow this person. Then you're going to have like a bunch of people that follow your shit and they don't even like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've always felt that, I remember I used to always get people were like, damn, you only got like 600 followers. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? But it was just kind of like, at least it's like, organically, you know what I mean? Just like people generally is following me because of my content, not just because somebody said to follow me.
I fell into that when we first started. I was trying to figure out ways to like put out our product out there. So I fell into one of those like in the DMs on Instagram where they hit you up like, oh, you know, pay us $50 and we'll promote you on this page or whatever. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll try it. And then they're like, yeah, we'll guarantee you like a certain amount of followers on Instagram. And yeah, dude, overnight, 500 followers. Like, oh, shit. But then I started going through all the accounts and it's just fucking bots.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude. So I went in there, deleted everybody, it was like $30, whatever. It was a learning curve. But after that, I was like, nah, we got to do this shit organically. Yep. What about like paying for like boosting your content like through the actual platforms like Instagram or YouTube where you pay to advertise it through the actual brand?
I've done that maybe a handful of times on Facebook, but the return wasn't really like worth the money for me. So it was kind of like, I don't think that like for me, and I don't feel like I'm there to be paying for advertisement. I don't think I'm there yet. You know what I mean? I've done it like I said 3 or 4 times like on Facebook, and maybe got like, it tells you for the amount of money you spent, this is how many followers or likes or whatever you got. I'm like, fuck, I paid $20 for 2 followers. Like, fuck this. You know what I mean? But I just felt like that wasn't like an avenue that I wanted to go. But it goes back to like, I'm not really selling anything, so I'm not really like a business, or there's no like services that I provide to do an advertisement. So for me, it didn't make sense. For other people, like if they're barbers or if they're videographers or you know, photographers, and they want to put their stuff out there and to get a return because they're advertising their services, then it makes sense. But for me, since I'm just a creator, you know, advertising for me, I don't think it makes sense right now. So I'll just keep doing everything organically.
That's good.
What was the process for you getting monetized on Facebook and so forth?
On Facebook at the time, this was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You had to have X amount of followers, but then you have to have X amount of like average people watching. So not anybody can just get monetized. A lot of people don't understand that. Like, to get monetized now is way harder. It was easier before because you had to stream X amount of hours, have X amount of followers, and X amount of watch time. And once I hit that on Facebook, I was like, oh shit, that was dope. And then I did it on Twitch. I was like, all right, shit, that was dope. And then the mountain that I wanted to climb was the YouTube one. So that one, I had started the channel in 2019, and it took me like 4 years to get, but like I had the channel and I was posting shit, but Facebook was the main platform. I did everything on Facebook, all my streams, everything, and I would just kind of have the YouTube just to have the YouTube. But once I started pivoting the content, I was posting my podcast on YouTube because it didn't make sense to post it on Facebook. That's another thing too that I learned, is that you have to use the platforms for what they're used for. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sometimes like my gaming content doesn't really hit on certain platforms. Like I don't really put much gaming content on Instagram, but if I put it on TikTok, it fucking blows up. I'm playing, you know, Call of Duty and I'm getting my ass whooped, but I have like 1,000 likes or 1,000 views on each little video. I'm like, all right, Video games, more for there. You know what I mean? Instagram, I'm doing more videography stuff. Facebook was my OG platform, so I put everything there because people still kind of keep up with me. So you kind of have to use each platform how it is. But YouTube was the hardest one because you have to have X amount of followers and watch time.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like, oh, I already have all the followers, but then nobody's watching your content. So that's like the hardest thing because, yeah, you could have like a lot of followers, but if nobody's watching your content, that's how they do it on the channel. Like if you go into the settings, it says what you have to do.
Yeah.
And they span it over a year of time. So you have to have X amount of watch time within a year.
It's 4,000 hours now in watch time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like 4,000 hours, like, but when you start putting your stuff up and then you get like 20 views, 5 views, and you're like, damn, I worked fucking hard to put that freaking episode out or that video out and nobody watched it. But if you go to my channel on YouTube, everybody looks at me like, you got more videos and followers. I'm like, you have over 1,000 videos. I'm like, can't fuck with this grind, man. This is the consistency. I tell people all the time. I'm like, even me being consistent all this time doesn't amount to money. I tell people all the time, if you're getting in this for money, unless you're already famous or popular or popping in other things, and then you get into this space, like you're not gonna make money right away. There is no way.
So how do you not get discouraged, man? How do you stay fresh? You've been doing this for 5 years. I've been doing this for not even a year, and like I said, I've lately been feeling that like slump where I'm like, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
How do you get past that?
I think I've been there a couple times too, and sometimes like just feeding what else you got going on to look forward to doing that. Because the podcast thing, I was trying to like, I want to do once a week. I want to do once a week. I want to do once a week. I was getting all these people, and then I was like, fuck, I could do it twice a week. All right, twice a week. Then I was like getting burned out. Then I was like, God damn, I'm like, I'm doing it just to do it. I caught myself like, I'm doing it just to do it. I'm not having fun. This is not good. But it took me a couple of those slumps to like, you know, re-engage, pivot, like, all right, cool. All right, what do I want to do? What I don't want to do? What is working and what is not working? What I want to do to where it makes sense eventually to where I can do it. So I was more honest with my content, and I was making like more meaningful content and not just doing it just to do it. Because after a while, just like I stream Call of Duty. All right, I had like all these good games. I could make all these clips and just put it out. Okay, I had a decent streamer. I could put out these clips, and I just kept doing that over and over again. I was getting burned out. I was like, fuck, I'm just doing it just to do it, which happens. But how I stay, you know, fresh with it, just kind of like I look to just do different things, you know, because now I'm like, I do a podcast when it makes sense. I could do a podcast every week if I really wanted to. I have people that, you know, I'm fortunate enough that I can call somebody like, hey, you have time to do a podcast? I'd fucking love it. But it's now to the point to where like I want to do it when it makes sense and it's meaningful. But at the same time, like now that I'm doing more videography stuff, I look forward to doing that.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, I want to play games, so I'll stream every once in a while. So being able to do anything when I want to is kept it fresh because I don't feel like I need to do this. I need to do that. Now it's kind of like, I want to do that. Fuck yeah. I want to do that. Fuck yeah. I don't want to do a podcast this month. I just want to do videography stuff. Right. Cool. You know what I mean? So having the ability just to do different stuff just because I can is how I kept looking forward to just doing more content because I'm not getting burned out doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was telling you guys earlier, I was like, dude, this week, I'm like, we don't do a pod this week, I'll be okay with it. But at the same time, there was that, because my whole thing was like, I'm gonna do this for a year consistent, no matter what. And we've been very consistent, man. Every week, an episode every week. But now that we're kind of reaching the end, I'm thinking like, I think once we start next year, I want to go back to just do it every other week. That way it gives me time to focus on other things because I'm falling more in love with like photography.
Yeah.
And I love doing that shit. Like anytime I try to carry my camera everywhere we go. I went to go play golf with Sal the other day and I took my camera.
Yeah, hell yeah, I saw that.
And took some dope ass pictures. And I was like, dude, this is so much fun. So I want to do more stuff like that. I want to do more videography. Just create content in other ways because the podcast, I love doing this, but I love doing this because of the people that I meet. But I want to expand and do other things too.
Yeah.
Like there's so much out there once you start figuring shit out. But it's fucking cool, man. But I think I needed a I needed to hear your perspective, because not hearing you talk, it's like, okay, yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people too. Like, I even have either creator friends that are still streaming, and they see me doing different things. They're like, "Damn, you're doing all this shit. That's dope." And I'm like, "I want to do that. I'm gonna do it." You know what I mean? Do it. Like, I mean, creating content. Like, I've always like, I just love creating content. It could be like the dumbest things, or it's like just. But sometimes I have to switch my brain off, because I'm always thinking. Like, one of my things that I always do, and I started doing this project where I'll sit down and record myself while I'm editing. And I'm like, my brain is like always content. Like, I'm making content while I'm making content.
Yeah.
So my brain is always running. So sometimes I have to switch it off to kind of like decompress and just chill sometimes, because my brain is always running and I don't want to get burned out. But I'm always thinking of different ways to create content, man. So like, having my second camera watching me do this, or recording myself editing, or fucking I'll do a live stream when I'm just editing videos. I'm always trying to bring different aspects to my creation, so people can see that I'm a creator in different ways, not just the video games, not just the podcast, not the videography stuff. So like, always being able just to look at something different and be like, all right, cool, what else can I do? Like how you used to carrying your camera around, or sometimes I'll have my phone, I'm at my family events or whatever, and I'll just take pictures of cool little candid moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'll send it to the family members like, oh, that's dope. Because I always kind of have an eye for like different angles and different things going on. So like, I'm always like thinking creatively, or like if I hear a song, I write it down. I'm like, oh, that song would be dope with this kind of footage. And I have like a bunch of shit. Like I have a notepad of like different projects that I can do. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense now, but maybe later it will. So I'm always trying to think of different things I can do. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I always feel like being able just to think creatively like that will open different doors.
Do you have any like passion projects that you would want to work on, but you feel like you're not there yet?
I don't know, man. I've pretty much everything I'm doing now is what I wanted to do years ago. And as I get more and more into different spaces and stuff, there's one thing I want to do, and it's going to happen eventually. I've already been in verbal talks about it, but hopefully I can do it, but is to commentate some fights.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been approached already before with another gym. I kind of half-assed did it at a gym, and I was recording for them. And shout out to Charlie at Empire MMA, man. He's the one that got me doing with all the MMA stuff. Because I was doing the jiu-jitsu stuff, and I was practicing editing and just recording, you know, and things like that. And then my buddy Charlie, I used to train with him at another gym, and then he started his gym. He has a whole MMA team now. He hits me up. He's like, hey, man, I see you on Twitch, and you know how to do all this shit. I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, well, we're going to have some fights at the gym. Can you stream them? I'm all, well, technically I could.
Yes.
You know, I guess I could. I've never done it before, but I have the skill set. And he's like, yeah, man, you can commentate and shit like that. And I'm like, what? You want me to commentate? He's like, well, you train, you know enough, and you could do. I was like, what the fuck? So that's one thing that, you know, that's I hope I get to do. But I've been doing more of the interviews now and getting more comfortable, like asking questions. So I've been doing these MMA events and all these combat sports. So I'm starting to do more of the talking. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to interview guys. Like, I've always like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I was like, regardless of what people say about him, whatever, just the way he's gone about his career and how he, like, I envision doing shit like that. I'm not saying I'm trying to be like him.
He's the man, dude.
Just the fact that he started like just hanging out and talking to people because that's what he wanted to do, not to get paid or anything, right?
Yeah.
And I've been watching UFC since UFC 1. You know, I mean, I've trained on and off, you know, kickboxing, boxing, and then just jiu-jitsu now. So I love combat sports, and then I can see some of these guys that now that I'm getting to more in the space, there's guys out here that are really trying to do this and are really pushing it in the right way. So it's cool seeing people, you know, push that, and then getting to know them, and, you know, just kind of recording like moments and documentary, and then getting to talk to them and stuff like that. It's dope because it inspires me because what the hell they're doing. So it inspires me to keep doing what the fuck I'm doing.
Do you have you participated in tournaments and stuff like that for the jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I've done. Let's see, I've done at least like 8 or 9. Never first, but never last. You know what I mean? But the best I've ever done is like third. You know what I mean? But
that's still pretty good.
Yeah, man. But like these young bucks, man, fuck, man, because a lot of these tournaments is like I'll sign up for the 35 and over or 40 and over,
Yeah.
and I'm like one or two people, and then we get jumbled in with the fucking Haas 20-year-old two kids. It's all they're doing. You know what I mean? And fucking rip my arm off and shit. But I always like I grew up playing sports, so I like to test myself competitively. So like the last tournament I did was in September. And I locked in for like 4 or 5 weeks. I locked in. I lost, like 12, 13 pounds. I was eating good. I wasn't drinking.
It's also like by weight class?
Yeah, it was by weight class. So,
What's your weight class?
So the first tournament I did when I first got back was 160. Then I was like going against this guy. I'm like, dog, there's no way. So I would drop down to 150. This last tournament I did decent, but even then I'm a small guy, so I'm not. It's not like I'm like have a six pack. I'm like okay weight, but if I would competitively try it, I have to be like in the 140s.
What do you normally walk at?
Right now, like I'm walking around like 150, 153, like that. I used to be 170, a little pudgy when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, but now I'm like comfortable like 150 walking around. But if I ever do sign up for another one, it's got to be like 140.
Damn.
Yeah, I have to because now that I'm like a blue belt now, like that's when you get more people that are more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Joe Blow that's just a white belt hanging out. It's like a competitive blue belt that's trying to get their purple belt that's going to try to rip your arm off. So if I'm going to sign up for a tournament, I got to make sure that I'm not signing up just to sign up. That goes back to where if I'm going to do something, I'm going to try my ass off. I'm not saying I'm going to win, but I'm going to try my fucking ass off. So anytime I go against somebody, when I'm trying my ass off, they're like, they might fuck me up, but they're like, damn, this fool was trying.
Yeah. That's dope, dude.
Hell yeah. I think that just doing jiu-jitsu, like it helps. I tell people all the time, if you don't do it, just like any other martial arts sports, there is just this feeling of just like, whoa, like you think you're the shit and you're not. And at the same time, you're problem solving, you know what I mean? And it's also a stress reliever. You're exercising, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that involve like rolling around. I tell people, man, come out on Monday night. It's open mat. You want to watch or you want to just roll around a little bit to get the feeling. And like a lot of people get hooked, or maybe it's not for them because the sweaty and there's people grabbing you and holding you and you're not used to that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But it's like a therapy, man. I say all the time, like now that I started doing jiu-jitsu again, because I trained for 2 years and then I took a 5-year break. Adulting, kids, I had to do all that stuff. And then when I started back up a year, more than a year and a half ago, I was like, all right, I need this in my life to help me with everything else. Because twice a week, I go to the mats, roll around for an hour and a half.
It's like your therapy.
Therapy, get away, stress reliever, camaraderie, all that stuff. Learning new shit, getting better. Younger guys that are training to get to be in fights. If they're tired and I could put a little pressure on them to make them work a little bit, you know what I mean, and they appreciate it, then we're all trying to help each other out and be better. So that absolutely helps me with my mindset too.
Do you prefer with or without a gi?
I prefer no, because I just hate when people grab you.
They fucking just choke you.
But it's part of that game. But I train both. Like what's cool about our gym is 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So 2 weeks a gi, 2 weeks of no gi. So this way you get a little bit of both. There's gyms that they just focus on no gi or focus on gi, and then there's gyms that are like hybrid. They'll switch days or one day. Our gym is like 2 weeks gi, 2 weeks no gi. So it's kind of like it gives you, gives you an idea. Like when you put the pajamas on, as we say, you put the pajamas on, all of a sudden you're like fucking grabbing my sleeve, grabbing my pants, choking me with my own collar. You know what I mean? The next week, like, yeah, bitch, you can't grab my shirt now.
But there's something cool about wearing the gi. It's like very traditional martial arts, right? Like, I've never done it, man. It's one of those things where like I love, like I said, I love the UFC. I'd want to try it.
I got to get you out on a Monday. Come off sometime,
dude.
man.
Fuck.
Drive over, son. We'll have to talk about it later.
Yeah. What if I just start seeing red and get my leg broken or something?
No, man. Everybody, you'd be amazed, man. Like when you're, as long as you're not an asshole, like generally, like somebody can tell when you're new or like when you're not as good as them. Like usually somebody will just take it easier. It's kind of still not give you everything. But at the same time, they're not going to let you, they're going to put you in your place if you start acting a little crazy. You know what I mean? Because some people will show up and they'll start like strong arming it and everything else. I'm like, hey, relax.
Yeah.
Relax. Like the other day, there was a big guy and he was a new guy. And I was like, all right, we're going slow. And he starts fucking me up. I'm like, all right, dude, calm down. And in my head, I'm like, he starts fucking me. All right, now I really got to try. And he looked at me like, oh, shit. I'm all, yeah, my little ass will start fucking you up. Just chill. You know what I mean? We're all here just having a good time. I don't want to kill you, and I don't want you to kill me and smush me and shit. But yeah, man, I always tell people, come on out, man. Come on out. Roll around for a little bit, see if you like it. If you don't, it's all good. But I always tell people at least try it.
Yeah. You did a little bit of jiu-jitsu, no?
Yeah, I've taken like 2 classes.
Yeah. And then
Just
you're
for
like,
shits and giggles. I mean, like, I'd go if I had like more time for it, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, I would go to Zen.
oh, wait, hell yeah.
So, yeah, I only went there twice, you know, because my buddy, my childhood best friend, his uncle is the one that owns that gym.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Mondo?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I just met him not too long ago.
Yeah, he's a super fucking cool
Fuck
dude.
yeah, man. He is
And
dope.
They normally offer like a 1 week
Yeah.
free trial or whatever, and that's what I went to go do. But like, because of my work schedule, I was only able to go 2 days.
Uh-huh.
And then my brother helps teach there sometimes too.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I just tried it. Did like the little kickboxing or boxing class. I don't know. Like, I just showed up, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, you're gonna stay for the next class? It was like fucking jujitsu and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was fucking all for it, you know. But it was just like learning shit.
Yeah.
Dude. So I was just going along with it.
Yeah.
You know? But
I tell people all the time, like,
it's
it's
chill.
not like you have to compete or you have to be good. It's
Yeah.
just like for me, I can't go to a gym setting anymore. I can't run on a treadmill. I can't go just lift weights. You know what I mean? That's not me. I can't do that anymore because my exercises were always playing roller hockey. And I'll still play every once in a while when I come out of retirement for little tournaments. But I just can't do like on a treadmill and like lifting weights anymore. I can't do that, man. I got to be active in different ways.
yeah, I gotta get away from that, man, because that's.
I haven't been going to the gym, dude.
I stay sore for like days, no matter what I do. Sometimes there was a period of time where I just wasn't getting sore. I'd get a good pump, but I wasn't getting sore. But then I started getting busy or just not having enough energy to like go to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck, I just stay sore for like 2-3 days. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
It's just kind of like a mindless thing to go to the gym and lift weights. Like I liked it whenever we would go as like a group. And
yeah,
we'd
it's
work
not
out
the
with
same
buddies.
like
Yeah.
going by myself anymore, you know?
Yeah.
It's so tough, man, mentally, if anything.
Yeah, because it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
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 For me, because I remember I used to like, I need to go to the gym. You know what I mean? I need to run at least a mile. I need to at least lift weights for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Because when I was going to the gym at like early 20s and I was like trying to lift and do all this shit, it was like, I had friends that would go for like 2 or 3 hours. I'm like, what the fuck? I go in there, I run a mile, I lift weights for 10, 15 minutes, 45 minutes, I'm out. You know what I mean? I would just there and out. Because I felt like that was a chore that I needed to do. And after a while, I was like, fuck this. You know what I mean?
So that's my thing too. Like I was going because like other than I wanted to go, but I wanted to go. Fucking, I'll take my time. And I'm there for like 2 hours. Like what the fuck, where the time they went by,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But then I'm like doing a lot and really like concentrating on like specific body parts that I'm like working on that day. And then when we would go, we'd do circuits and stuff, and that's
Nice.
more like 20-30 minute
Intensity.
full body
off,
like
yeah.
circuits, and then like 2 supersets of like actual lifting weights, and then we call it a day.
Yeah.
So our workout was at least like 40-45 minutes
Nice.
tops, and then we'll get out of there.
But those were workouts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I'm not there to hang out.
Yeah.
Like some people sit there and hanging out. I can't even imagine being at a gym now. Everybody with their fucking cameras out and fucking, you know what I mean? Or like people that are just like really, really getting in it. You know what I mean? I can't sit in a gym setting. Respect to all the guys that do and all the folks that do, but that's just not the type of workout that I could do anymore myself.
It gets overwhelming if it's the gym's fucking packed.
Yeah,
It's just
different
like,
times and shit.
it's unmotivating. Like, oh, gotta switch up my shit because
Yeah.
this machine's taking.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah.
annoying.
Going back to the Zen martial arts, you said you met Mando recently?
Yeah, so since I've been getting more like into the whole combat sports, and then people are seeing me that I'm like a creator, and then I started making videos and things like that, and then actually Mondo was messaging me from the Zen because I went to an open mat because the gym that I go to at Zen is like a sister gym.
Yeah.
So we're under one affiliation under Tom DeBlas.
DiBiase, yeah.
Yeah. So we're under that. So there's Zia and Cruces, Zen here in El Paso, and then Grind over there in the Northeast. So we're all sister gyms. They had an open mat one time at Zen, and that was the first time I went there. It was dope white mat. You know, I was like, oh shit, this is dope. This is cool. And I brought my camera out and I was recording, and then I started posting and stuff, and then a lot of the guys started following me. But I didn't know Mondo was the one that ran the Instagram one.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always messaging me like, "Yeah, I like your stuff." And then I started doing more of these fight promotions, and I was just recording, people in the back, getting ready and things like that. And people were like, "Oh shit, that's dope." And I'm just kind of like, when I go to these events, and there's another thing I always tell all the promoters or anybody that invites me or gives me a media pass, I'm there to work. I'm not there to hang out. I'm not drinking beer. I'm not bullshitting. I'm trying to get some moments, and I'm always mindful of people getting ready to fight. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, can I record? Hey, I'm just going to be back here. I'm not bothering people. I'm just like a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
So when started people seeing that I was doing that, then everybody started kind of following me. And then Mondo, I was like, hey, I was like, who? I was like, thank you guys for always sharing my shit. I don't know who runs the page. And then Mondo took a picture of himself with his big ass beard. I was like, oh shit. I was like, thank you, man. And then I saw him at Speaking Rock not too long ago. He walked up. I was like, what's up, man? It was cool, like, to meet him and talk to him. But yeah, man, it was cool. I didn't know he had run the channel. I didn't know, like, I knew of him, but I don't know him. But I'm just starting to get to know, some of the players in the area. You know what I mean? They've been around doing this in the mixed martial arts or anything that has to do with fighting.
It's super chill, dude. And then that whole gym in general is like super chill. Everybody's like willing to teach too, which is, I don't know, like for me, like only going those 2 times was like super helpful. Everybody was like calm and like just willing to teach.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing about any jiu-jitsu gym that I've been to, because when I used to travel for work, I would try to hit up gyms, and I would tell them, hey, I'm only in town for a couple days. I'll drop in fee or whatever. A lot of time they wouldn't charge me. I would just go in there, and they would test my ass right away just to see who I was and what I was trying to do. But after that, most of the time, like every gym that I gone to was pretty welcoming. You know what I mean? But then again, it's just jiu-jitsu, and I wasn't trying to be a badass or anything. And a lot of the guys like weren't trying to kill me once they found out how terrible I was. They were just like, this guy's from El Paso, only here for a week. There's no reason to fuck his ass up.
It's a lot of like discipline too, and like respect.
Yeah. I think, and that's like a lot of thing when it comes to this sport is like, I mean, I grew up playing roller hockey for almost 30 years now. And it was always like fucking assholes everywhere. You know what I mean? Like everywhere you go, somebody's going to slash you. Somebody's going to hit you from behind or say, fuck you before the game or after the game. But with jiu-jitsu, I haven't had any bad interactions with anybody. Even at tournaments, if I smoke somebody or somebody smokes me, still shake hands and it's all good. But I think it goes back to the whole like just discipline in the martial arts, you know what I mean? Aspect of it, you know what I mean? But that's just for me. But I'm just, like I said, I don't look like I'm imposing my will on anybody. So I mean, nobody's afraid of my ass.
I thought it was dope how Valentina Shevchenko was training out of Zen for this last fight, dude. That was fucking dope. I was trying to, because I've messaged Mando. I have never met him personally, but we're trying to get him on the pod and stuff, and he was down to do it. We just gotta like, at the time they were training for the fight. Yeah. And I was shooting my shot. I was like, hey, any chance, Valentina? Yeah. I was like, right now we're too busy. I was like, that's cool, man. I'll respect you,
Yeah. That's how it was with Andrea. So she's been fighting here out of El Paso for a while, but she trains with Mondo, and she was actually Valentina's one of her sparring partners. Yeah. Oh. So before Valentina's fight and before Andrea's fight, I was trying to get her on, but I was being mindful of like her training camp and stuff, and I was like, after you're done fighting, we'll have our conversation. So I had a conversation with her at City Wolves, one of her gyms, and that was another thing. I wanted to talk about her. I would talk to her about Valentina, so I was like, I'll talk to her off camera. Yeah. But it was cool talking to her. Like, how is it to be like around? She's like, I've known her for like a little bit, so the fact that she was coming down here to train with Mondo, and I was, she knows me and I have been a training partner, gave her the opportunity to be freaking training with a fucking world champ. Yeah. You know what I mean? And she went out and finished her fight. Shout out to Andrea. She went out she fought out of Fury. They're like, it's a step right before the UFC.
Yeah. I think my buddy told me that she has like one more fight. If she can win, she'll like be on a UFC fight night or some shit.
She's like, the last time I talked to her, and like even when I had the podcast with her, she's like, she's on a mission. Like she's like, my window's this small. Yeah. Everything is fighting right now. Everything is fighting, and she's going all in. She's like, I'm like right there, but I'm just gonna keep training every day. And if they call me up for a fight or whatever, but she's like right there on the cusp. Yeah. But yeah,
That's
she
fucking
is
sick. She's badass.
she is fucking tough. Cause I've always known of her, and I've never talked to her until I had the podcast with her. So I was like, hey, I've been following you for a little bit. I've known of you, and I talked to her. I went and like I was respectful. I went to shake her hand, and I shook her hand.
She grabs you, puts you in an armbar
Right,
and shit.
right.
Like, ah.
And then like after we were done, like I was like, thank you so much for your time. I went to shake her. She went to hug me. I went to hug her. She's 115. She is fucking
Solid.
She is solid. Andrea, you're an animal. But she's such a sweetheart. But yeah, I could see her worth ethic.
Yeah.
And being around those type of people and talking to them, it's dope because it inspires me. Like she's like, I trying to do this. And I'm like, I'm trying to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always cool
yeah.
to have that, have those conversations with people that are pursuing something that's out of the norm. I say that all the time. Like having these conversations with you guys like this is cool because it makes me like, have gratitude and understanding like people of us can relate to each other. Not a lot of people can. You know what I mean? It's not that I need to, but it's cool every once in a while to have these little shit show talks and just bullshit a little bit and have some conversations that, we're all trying to push in our own different way.
I felt like that watching the Shevchenko fight because OJ Mondo's nephew is like Raleigh's best friend, and they invited us to go watch the fight with Mondo's family, and like it was cool seeing that because you're seeing it from I've watched a ton of UFC fights, but I've never seen it from a perspective from somebody that's actually there, and especially their family because everybody's rooting for them, right?
Yeah.
And it just hit different, dude. And it was also one of those things where it's like, damn, like he fucking made it.
Yeah.
Like hearing them talk about like all the work he's put in to be in that moment was fucking crazy, dude. And that was really inspiring. And even watching the fight, I was like, fuck, like my heart was pounding because I'm like, I want him to win.
Yeah.
That entire fight.
Yeah, the
was
whole
like that,
fight,
yeah.
dude.
I love Grasso, but you're getting your ass kicked this
yeah,
time, girl.
yeah. And sure enough, she won. And, regardless of what people think of the fight, he called the family afterwards, and I was just there like listening to what you're saying, dude. And it was like, fuck, dude, that's so fucking
Hell yeah,
badass,
that's sick, dude.
Like it was inspiring, dude.
Yeah.
So shout out Mondo if you're watching this, and their whole families, they're fucking dope, man. So it's just cool that we get to have that kind of shit here in El Paso because we never get that.
Yeah.
And that puts a spotlight on us, and like as a city, like we're out there now. And people know who we are. And
Yeah,
shit.
this whole area, like going back to the whole combat sports, like there's a lot of talent here, and the fact that there's more promotions popping up, and we got some good fighters here, man. There's a lot of kids that I've gotten to know, and it sucks. One thing I always do too is and everybody's seeing how I move. I like a lot of guys, and I like other guys, and maybe they all fight each other, but I always stay neutral. You know what I mean? So I see two guys that I like and I've talked to fighting each other, and one gets knocked out. Everybody's cheering, and I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because now I'm more in the space of like, I know what this kid's been doing. He's been busting his ass and doing all this and working extra time and doing whatever he needs to do to go have this fight. And all of a sudden he gets knocked out in the first round after he just had an 8-week training camp getting ready for this. So everybody's cheering and everyone all crazy. And I'm just like, fuck. Like, I feel that. I'm like, damn, I know how much work they've been putting in. So it's kind of like, it's crazy to be more close to somebody like pursuing something. And then just like, they have a speed bump and they're like, I'm still going. And I'm like, fuck yeah, keep going and shit like that. Because, you know what I mean? It's more like, it hits more home. But it's also inspiring, you know what I mean? Because everybody's trying to pursue something. But when you see it like that, it's just kind of like, oof, tough. You know what I mean? It just, these guys are fighting.
It's a whole nother perspective.
Yeah, it's a whole perspective.
There's a lot of talent, dude. We had James on, James Pleasant. He's one of
Oh, yeah, no, dude.
Dude, we had him on like when we first started the
Handsome
podcast.
fella.
Yeah, dude. We had him back on like in February, and I didn't even know he was like a fighter, dude, because he was just here with Caleb from Elevate El Paso, and we had both of them on. And then we, the conversation came with he was telling us, oh yeah, like I do MMA and stuff. Like, oh,
He's
cool.
a champ too.
Yeah, he's a champ now. And it's crazy because at the moment, like I had no idea, and then he put in the work, and now he's a champ. It's like, oh shit, like good for you, man. Like I met you when I saw when you were talking about like that you wanted to be there, and now you're getting there, and it's cool, like little moments like that.
Hell yeah. I always see like even like with I remember going back to the whole streaming thing. I've seen people like I'm gonna be a partner. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. and then seeing them do it, I'm like, oh fuck.
Just manifestation.
You know what I mean? Like I've seen a lot of streamer homies that they stop streaming or they don't, and then you see other people that keep doing it, and that's inspiring me to me. Like I see them still doing it and like still pursuing that and doing brand deals. I'm like, that's fucking sick. You said that you were gonna do it and you're gonna put your head down and you did everything the right way to do it. So it's cool that because a lot of people will talk shit just to talk shit and say I'm gonna do this someday, but they're not. There's no worth ethic.
Yeah.
But when you see actually somebody like putting in the time and the effort to try to get better at whatever they're doing, and then for them to do it, I'm like, hell yeah, I remember him talking about it, and he said he was going to do it. He told me he would, and he wasn't bragging or boasting, but he said, I'm going to do this, and he did it. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's cool.
That's inspiring.
Hell
man.
yeah.
That's fucking cool.
I love hearing shit like that, man. I'm like, anytime, like I tell everybody, I want everybody to win. I want everybody to win. And I'm not, it's just, I genuinely want everybody to win. If whatever you're pursuing and whatever you're doing in life within reason, if that's what you want to do, fucking do it.
Dude, there's plenty of bread in the table for everybody. Especially.
You might not get the biggest crumb.
That's something.
But it's bread.
Yeah.
Nah, especially I feel like in the space, in the creator space, El Paso, I feel that El Paso is still very new and they're still growing, and there's a lot of room to grow there. So yeah, everybody can get a piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking dope.
And there's so many different, like, I always tell everybody, all of us are on a big ass fucking freeway. All going that way. We're all on different lanes. Everybody gets off on different exits. Everybody takes a different turn. But everybody's going on a fucking freeway, everybody gets off or gets back on. Everybody's going that way. I would say within reason, everybody keep going forward.
Yeah. Unless it's I-10 here and you're just
right.
not moving.
And you're
dude.
on the west side. You're like, fuck, I traffic shit.
Fucking.
I can't even. Oh my god. I've been working from home for over 3 years now. I can't even go back into an office. There's no way. I can't even fucking drive. When I was working I used to work at an immigration office, and it was only a 20-minute drive, but I was like, that's almost 40 minutes every day. X amount of times a week, X amount of months, like fuck. And now that I don't have to do that, I'm like, god damn.
Damn. And you do like Monday through Friday?
Yeah, well, thank God.
Like 8 to 5 type of shit?
So
or?
no, I'm 5 to 1, 5 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's even better, dude.
It took a while, like to get used to that schedule, but man, I take advantage of it big time.
Yeah.
Because I get up early, and everybody's still asleep. Everybody wakes up around like 6:30, 6:45. Start getting ready for school. My wife goes to work. I take the kids to school, and then I'm at work. Do whatever I do at home for work, and then from 1 to 3:30, I have time to sit there and edit or do different things that I can work on my shit.
Yeah.
So it works out big time.
Hell yeah. And then, dude, 1 o'clock, you still have your whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking dope.
Hell yeah, man. Like if I have any appointments or anything like that schedule is like, I used to like, 5 o'clock. But now I'm like, I can't. Like Monday through Friday is one thing. But like that early schedule, just like getting up early and just having your day done by 1 and have the rest of the day or evening to do whatever the hell you need to do or whatever.
Yeah.
Big win.
Damn.
That's one of the biggest things in my life that's helped me with my scheduling. Having that work schedule, because it makes me go to sleep early. Because I have to get up.
What time do you go to bed?
I used to go to sleep late, but I'm like, I'm dragging ass. You know what I mean? But now that I'll go to sleep like around, the latest is like 10:30.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But even then, that's a little late. Like around when the kids are going to bed, like around 9, I'm already starting to slow down and kind of like chill or watch TV or whatever. And me and the wife are hanging out. But so this way I can get at least my 6-7 hours of sleep so I can have a productive day.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all right, I got to do this, this, and this. All right, cool. I need to get my sleep. All right, cool.
Especially, I feel like as I've gotten older, like I need my sleep. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I need sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't, like, you take that shit for granted sometimes. Because, yeah, you could drag ass all day, but, like, you're, like, I'm way more productive when I get at least 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, like, the only times I get, like, more than 8 hours, it's, like, on the weekends. Like, that's the only days I sleep in.
Even then, it's hard to get 8 hours now, dude.
You think
Like,
so? I'm a rock dog. I will fall asleep.
I'm programmed where I usually wake up like at 7, and this time change fucked me up because now I'm waking up at 6, dude, because I was like the old 7, so I have to like just kind of lay there and try to go back to sleep, get that extra hour. But yeah, if I don't get my 6-7 hours, I'm in a shit mood.
Yeah.
I'm just not me.
Yeah.
I'm not me.
You can tell, too. I'm like, all right, I could do better. Come on now.
You want another one? Or
Yeah, I'll do another one.
What flavor?
Yeah, that's fine.
All
sir. So you guys been doing this for almost a year?
Yeah, we're barely gonna hit the year mark.
That's
in
dope.
January.
And you guys all have known each other for a while and just was like, hey, I'm gonna do this. Like,
Not kind of. Well, okay, so we all live small town. We've known everybody, like known each other forever, but we weren't really friends. We have a mutual
We
friend.
still aren't, dude.
Yeah. We have a mutual
I
friend.
need that check in the mail. He said, you think this is my free time and shit?
Yeah, so one of our boys, Louis, that's how we would like party back in the day and stuff, but
Yeah, that's about it.
we never really like hung out.
Yeah.
It wasn't until when did we go to New York? 2 years ago? A year ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
We went to a New York trip together with like our homie Louis, and that's when I started talking to Raleigh more.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of just bonded over that.
Yeah.
And then after that, all of us would go to the gym with another buddy, Olivas, and we would just hang out at the gym. So that's kind of how we started hanging out. And I started doing the podcast with one of my other friends from high school. And one day he couldn't do the pod, and I'm like, dude, like I was at the gym with these guys, like, hey, like you guys want to shoot a pod with me because I need people. And they're like, yeah, fuck it, you know. So they came on board and we shot a pod together, and it was funny, and they liked it. People liked it, and I'm like, well, let's just come do pods whenever I do one. So they tagged along, and yeah, now they've.
And I think that's the best part when it just like organically, like, because I've been approached for like, oh, you guys want to do let's do a show together, like different creators, not from here, but just like, oh, we could do a virtual show. And I'm like, you know, I'm just like, I don't feel like I always feel like there has to be kind of a connection or kind of bonding or
Chemistry, yeah.
there, because like it's hard to kind of plan something with somebody you don't know and then kind of have like something be successful. Not that it can't be done, but I just feel like it's more like organic and more fun, like if you actually have some chemistry and some background with somebody.
Yeah.
Because you can tell, you can see it.
Yeah.
On camera and shit like that. When I have certain people on or I talk to certain people, you could tell like y'all know each other for a while. Well, fuck yeah. Like I had one of my friends from high school. She was she wrestled with us and now she's a bodybuilder. And I hadn't seen her in years, but she came over to the house and we were just shooting this shit like fucking no time has passed.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, God, shout out to Tiffany, and I was like, damn, this was so dope. You know what I mean? Because I hadn't talked to her in years, and just other than just bullshit through the internet, but just being around each other and just talking again, like no time passed, because that chemistry and that friendship was still there.
And at that point, it's not even work or anything. It's just you hanging out with your homie, and then you just happen to have cameras on,
and people watch. I would say, like, having these podcasts is dope because it's just like you have a conversation and people are just watching the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. Like, you don't have to look at the camera and shit the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like, if it's genuine conversation and people can relate to what the hell's happening, that's when it's dope.
Yeah, and that's how it's been with us. It's just been casual, and now, so I feel like this pod has gone through stages in its short-lived life, and I feel like now we're on a new stage because we've had people come and go. So it's a little different now, and we're kind of adjusting to what it is. But I think at its roots, it's still there. It's still about A-Town. It's about the people here, and it's cool, man. We're learning. We're adjusting. It's a whole experience, bro. Like, I didn't know anything about editing or any of this shit. This is all new to me. Yeah. I've learned all of this in the past 10 months.
And I respect the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't know the time and the effort it takes. And even for you coming over and hanging out and helping out and just being part of
bringing the beer.
That's all I do is bring.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing too. It's just like I tell people all the time, jokingly, and and this is another thing too. How many times have people come? I want to start a podcast.
Yeah.
How many people have come up to you? A lot. And I always tell, do it. I'm all do it.
Yeah.
And after, like, oh man, that shit's hard. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
It
you know what I mean?
It is, dude.
You think like, and I'm not trying to boast or discourage people, but like when you're gonna go into start getting creative or doing a podcast, it takes some time and effort, and a lot of people don't understand that it might not be your time and effort or money to do it. People see it from afar and they say, oh, that's cool. I want to do that, but then they start seeing what it takes to do it, and they're like, maybe I'm not. Maybe
and to stay consistent, dude, has been the hardest because especially like, you know, we said we're not making any money off of this.
Yeah.
Everything here has been funded from our pockets and shit. So to stay consistent and to keep pushing through, that's been like it's a mental game.
Yeah.
It's fucking mental. And that's why I said, like, I felt like I was reaching that breaking point, but like, I don't want to, like, you know, praise you or anything, but I feel like this conversation helped out with that, dude. So
No,
I
yeah,
appreciate that.
And that's the thing, and that's why I was like so like I wanted to make it a point to come if you're reaching out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I would love to be on anybody's podcast and want to have me. You know what I mean? But especially if it's somebody that I've been following, I can see what you guys are doing. I'm all, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? I talked to my wife. I'm like, we got anything going on Thursday night? So I just flipped with her because I have Mondays and Wednesdays to go to the gym. And she has Tuesdays and Thursdays to do whatever she wants. Right?
dope.
So
Yeah.
that's how we balance like our things, right? So I was like, I switched days with her and then I took my kids to practice yesterday. And then today I was like, I'm going to go do a podcast in Anthony on Thursday. All right, cool. Easy like that.
It's like getting...
It takes a communication. That's what I'm saying. Like before, it wasn't ever easy. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like on 2 days' notice. But she understands that all these little things that I'm doing is because I'm striving towards something, and it's not like I would just do that for anybody. So the fact that I can see what you guys are doing, and you guys wanted me on, I was like, fuck. Within reason, I was like, I can just flip a day with my wife, and it's no big deal. So having conversations and being around guys like you inspires me to keep doing my thing. Because I'm like, fuck yeah, I've been there before. Oh, yeah, me too. Or sometimes you're not motivated or kind of you're just recording shit and kind of like,
Yeah.
But it's cool because having these conversations, I even said it with Clay and I recorded with him last week. It's a fucking therapy session.
It is, dude.
It is a fucking therapy session, man. And I feel like mentally I get better every time I meet somebody and see their perspective and how they carry themselves when it comes to certain things in life, that it helps me. I'm not saying that I'm going to take what you guys do and apply it to me, but the fact that I can see how you guys are and how you carry yourself now that I met you, I'm like, fuck, I know those guys are dope, you know what I mean? That's cool and shit. I'm glad I met them. I'm glad I went, you know?
Likewise, dude. Likewise. Yeah, and like I learn from every guest that we have on, and anybody that interact, I learn you take something from them, dude. Like,
I feel like it gave you some clarity today.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The beers and just me coming over like, I guess I'll have another podcast next week and shit.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped, dude.
Hell yeah, man. That's what's up. And I'm glad to, because I've said that to many people other times, and then like every time somebody's come over and we get done and we talk after, I'm all, thank you. They're like, no, thank you. You know what I mean? It just kind of, it's kind of like, fuck yeah, let's just go fucking tackle the world. You know what I mean? You go back to your life, I go back to my life. Thank you for your time. This was good energy, and I feel like every time I get around certain people, I get some of that energy from them to keep doing what the fuck I'm doing.
For sure, dude. And I don't want this to be the last time, man. I want to shoot content with you.
Yeah, man, we could definitely figure something out, man. I always say, like, within reason, and like I always tell people, like, when I remember when you know, shout out to bro when Rowan's like, hey, we'll have you you want to be on our podcast? I'm all, you want to have me? Like, does it even make sense for your guys' platform? Like, because I want to talk and shoot the shit and like get to know people and do content with them, but I'm not the type of person that like will just, I want to do it just to do it, or just like, hey, you do what I do, let's do it together. You know what I mean? I just like, I genuinely would want to start making content for the right types of reasons, the right type of people, because I can see when people are just trying to do shit just to like try to hang out with you. Like, I've had so many times like, hey, can I be on your podcast? Well, what do you want to talk about? Whatever you want to talk about. Well, it kind of doesn't work that way. Well, we could talk about whatever. I'm like, okay, bro, now you're missing the point. You know what I mean? Like, there's no like, there has to be like a mutual thing that we both do it together for a reason. So yeah, man, I say that all the time. Once I get to know people and see what they're all about, then it's kind of like, hell yeah, if this ever makes sense for us to do a project together, I'm gonna hit you guys up, or vice versa and shit like that. And then we'll talk about off camera about other things that, you know, that we can do. And so hell yeah, man, I always feel like creating and collaborating with other people gives you better ideas and better perspective of how you could apply it to your content. I always tell people, I have a toolbox and I'm adding fucking tools all the time.
Hell yeah.
I'm adding to the fact that you were showing me that shit with the computer. I was like, maybe I can use that. Maybe not now, but maybe I could use it later. I didn't even know that was even a thing.
I didn't even know you did the foot switcher thing.
Yeah, see, I see. That's why I tell people all the time, like, or like when it comes to social media and things like that, I tell people all the time, like yeah, or like brand yourself. Like you're saying, branding. Put your stuff out there. Be consistent. Show people the process. Show people what you're all about. That's what people are more intended to follow you. Not so much because they watch the podcast. I have some people like they watch the reels and the snippets, and that's how they support, and I appreciate that. I know not everybody's gonna sit there and watch a whole goddamn hour of something, or they have it in the background. But if I make little segments or little funny things, maybe it'll incline them to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that's why I always tell people, you have to constantly always be doing different things to get that audience, because not everybody's gonna watch a whole thing. Maybe somebody will watch a whole thing and never watch a single reel, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's those diehards that will watch every minute of your content, every episode, everything. Like, and those people, like, thank you guys for those that do watch that shit, because I don't even watch the full episodes, dude. Once I finish editing them, sometimes I don't watch all of them.
Right.
Like
I'll go back and be like, oh shit, I did say that.
Yeah. It's funny because we did that episode where we were about to hit 500 subscribers. And I said, like, oh, if we hit 500 subscribers by the end of the month, thinking that we weren't going to do it, I'm like, I'll make out with Booby on one of the episodes.
It's like 3 days later.
Dude, I completely forgot I said that. I'm editing the episode. I get to that part. I'm like, holy shit, we fucking did it, dude, because we ended up hitting 500 subscribers. And I was like, son of a bitch, dude, I just said I was going to make out with this dude. So now I got to do that on camera.
Damn, we got to figure it out. Yeah. Supporter only.
Yeah.
Only flans.
Yeah. Yep. Exclusive content.
Exclusive content. $4.99.
He's not down, though.
He's not down.
I don't
know.
If we get X amount.
Name the price.
Right?
Everybody's got a price.
Everybody has a price. We might just do it and shit.
We're at 138.
Damn.
That's what happens. I don't know. It's something about this. It's super fucking homey.
Yes, I love that. That's one other thing that when you guys, I'm watching the videos and I have them up at work. It's such like a chill environment. I can see how time fucking flies, and just because the conversations are flowing and everybody's like, putting in their 2 cents when it makes sense. I think that's the best thing too, because a lot of people don't understand that sometimes you just got to shut up because there's other people on the mic too.
Yeah. Dude, for me is like, if the guest is talking, like, let them talk, dude. Like, they're the guest, right? Like, I'm here to listen. Like, I'm here to tell your story. Everybody knows my story. They've watched my shit over and over. Like, I'm here to put your story on.
Yeah.
Like what you're about. So, I like it when guests talk. When they don't talk, it's harder for me as a host, because then I gotta like.
Yeah, it's funny because like I like the way you say that, because I'm like that when I have people on. I'm just like all about. I'm like let them talk too. But I've had people like ask me questions. I'm like, what the fuck? You're asking me a question on my podcast? Like,
I'm not ready for this shit.
So I'm like, I'm asking you all the questions. But I think that the flowing of the conversations, and I think that's always a good thing too, because the dead space in between, you're like, it's kind of like, all right, are we done? Or keep it going? But that's the thing too. As long as it's like good conversations, like fucking time flies. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. An hour went by. I could still do another hour and shit. Like, open another fucking beer.
Yeah. Have you had any podcasts where you're like, fuck, like where you don't feel like that shit went good at all?
I've had one. And even then, after I looked at it, I'm like, okay, that's a rep for me. It's more like I understand, like, I didn't know the guest ahead of time. And I talked to the guest and it was a little more dry. But at the same time, I look back at it, I'm like, all right, cool. He still said things and it was still a meaningful thing. It's not that it was a waste, but it was a little rough and things like that. And that's when it goes back to what I was telling you, like, I'm more, not that I'm picky and I have all these people that I can have on, but I'm just kind of like, when like conversations or a podcast make sense, I'll reach out to that person or we'll talk about it, because I don't want to just have a episode just to have an episode.
Yeah.
And I started getting away from like that. Not that any guest I've had was just an episode just to have an episode, but as I started doing them more, I started realizing that, all right, cool, like let them be more meaningful. Like whenever they have, I do have a podcast, I want it to be dope. Because I have like, I have like 4 or 5 people like penciled in. We're just trying to figure out dates, because that's another thing I'm sure you guys deal with. It's just like, everybody has a schedule. Everybody has a life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even with me, I usually just have just one person, and it's only me and the guests. And even then, it's tough. So I'm always trying to have guests where it's kind of like different shit too. It's not the same things. You know, because like when I was doing all the streamer homies, I had like fucking like 15 or 16 episodes of just streamer guys.
Yeah.
And which was cool, you know what I mean? And I appreciate their time. And it was all great episodes. I'm not saying they were bad. But I had one homie that is not a streamer and not a gamer. He's like, yeah, this is cool, but it's just the same shit again, Jimmy. I'm like, damn, I didn't think about it that way. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't. And it was like constructive criticism. It wasn't like a bad thing. But he was like, he's supporting me and he's checking out the podcast. But it's kind of like another gamer person. I can't really like. And that's what made me kind of like, oh, maybe I could start, like, maybe I ask other people. Because right now I'm on this whole combat sports thing. But I don't want to have just a bunch of fighters just to have a bunch of fighters. You know what I mean? So I'm always trying to make sure that when I have a guest on, it's like completely different from what I have going on, but adding to the different things that I got going on. So I'm like, I'm gonna have some streamer homies soon. I'm gonna have some other hockey buddies. I'm gonna have some fighters. You know what I mean? So I have different people. So it's like, all right, cool. It's like back to what you were saying. Like, it's different things that I'm doing that I can have guests on, not just because I'm doing fighting. I'm gonna do all fighters. Not because I'm doing gaming, I'm just doing all gaming. Now I have the option to where I could have people that want to be on for different reasons. I'm going to have a realtor homie come on. I'm going to have a person that does this, have a person that that. So they're like, oh, shit, you had this person on, and that brings a whole other audience too.
Yeah. I feel like that's been my mentality where, like, I don't want to just niche down to one specific. We try to do as much. And even bringing on like female guests, I try to do as much as possible because for a while there was like nothing but dudes. I'm like, I don't want to be just a bro podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be for everybody.
Yeah.
So we try to mix it up. The one that I feel that we struggled, well, not that we struggled, but it was more of a challenge was when we had the mayor on.
That was cool. The fact that you guys, I was watching that one and I was like, that guy's that's cool that you guys were able to reach out and he was able to take you guys.
Well, that was crazy because they reached out to us.
Oh, that's
and we
so
were
cool.
like, at first I was like, oh, man, I don't know. Like, I was kind of like hesitant, but at the same time I said yes because I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, how are we not going to have the mayor on? But we actually had to do like research and study, and we were in my room going through all fucking kinds of shit and like, okay, like, what are we going to ask? And we try to be, that's the one that we've tried the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, because you're more mindful.
Everything was pinpointed, and we went over every single thing. We like jotted down to like ask, or he brought up himself, but everything got covered. What we had on our list to go.
Yeah,
like
that was like
a solid
I felt like
with them.
Like a real podcaster after doing that.
Yeah.
Well,
that was cool because it was informative.
Yeah.
It was things that are going on in your guys' area, which was cool. Like, I didn't even know, like it was like, oh, we're spilling over to that part. Well, actually, you could redraw the lines. I'm like, what the fuck? You can redraw the lines if that was... I mean, not that that's going to happen, but, you know, the fact that even got brought up, I was like, oh, shit, I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? So having and that goes back to what you guys are got going on. People can see what you guys going on. So when you have people reach out to you and you're like, what the fuck? You know, that's cool. Because they can see what you guys got going on. And it's like, I can see what they're doing. And it's like worthwhile to be on that type of platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got some other shit coming up soon. Also, we can't talk about yet.
Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, what you got going on? I'm like, I got so much things going on, but I'm not ever the type of person, like I said, like, oh, I gotta do this, I'm gonna do that. Like, I have so many things that are like verbal agreements and things that we're eventually gonna get to, and then whenever it comes out, like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, this has been in brewing for months.
Yeah.
But now we had the opportunity to do it, or it made sense, because a lot of people don't understand that. Just because you can do it right away doesn't make sense to do it right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when it makes sense to do it is when I do certain things. And I've always said that I always like move. I'm really calculated how I go about my content is I'm doing it because it makes sense and I'm making the moves that make sense for what I'm trying to strive to do. And a lot of people are like, well, you're doing all this. All of a sudden you did this. And I'm like, yeah, because it's on purpose. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, for a while I had a bunch of hockey content. I was wearing my GoPro playing hockey.
Yeah. And
I was like playing in tournaments and they were like, what the fuck? You're doing all this shit? I have another camera watching me play. And all of a sudden, no more hockey stuff, all jiu-jitsu stuff. What the hell? You're doing all these tournaments and stuff? What the hell? Now you're doing all these podcasts? What the hell? Now you're covering all these fights? I'm like, yeah, you didn't say anything. I'm like, I just do shit. If I have the opportunity to do it and it makes sense for me to do it, I'll do it. I've been asked to do a lot of different things, but it doesn't make sense to do it.
But that's cool because, and that's what I like, that you do shit that you like. Dude. Like, you're doing shit for content. Yeah, for you. And that's cool. And I think that's people, like, they see that and they resonate with you, you know?
Yeah, and I appreciate. I tell people all the time, like, "Yeah, you're dope." I'm like, "I ain't shit, but thank you. I appreciate it, man." So you're doing great. I'm like, "I ain't doing shit, man. I just still figuring it out, man."
Yeah.
I'm genuinely just figuring out, like, and I always try to, like, not that I'm like, oh, I'm super humble or like I'm not most inspiring person. I just feel like me just being myself, and if it inspires you in some way, great. Because a lot of people inspire me in different ways too, like that are just doing the most basic things, like showing up to work every day, doing things they need to do, being a good father, being a good husband, being a good coach, you know, different things that inspire me. So when people tell me like, man, I can see what you're doing, man, that's inspiring. I was like, dude, I'm just doing myself. And if that helps you in some kind of way, thank you, man. I appreciate it because I love hearing that because I've gotten messages like, I heard you say this and your guest said that, man. That really hit home. I'm all, thank you. That's my goal is to put some positive stuff out there. And if it hits in a certain way, in a positive way, dope. That's like one of my main missions is like, I'm doing it for me, but if it brings you any kind of joy or inspiration, that's even fucking cherry on top.
Hell yeah. Damn.
Oh yeah,
I'm
man.
inspired, man.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah. You guys inspire me and shit. Now I gotta get 3 cameras and fucking get fucking DaVinci Pro and shit.
It's a grind, dude, but I mean you have the passion for it and you can do it, man.
Yeah.
You've been doing it. So,
yeah, I was just like, fuck, man. I just like, I feel like I could always do more, but going back to like the burning out thing, I'm like, I could sit there and fucking have a podcast every week, or I can go record fights every week or do interviews every week, but I just be doing it and burning myself out, and I'm not looking forward to doing it. So within reason, I'm always like trying to create content when it makes sense within my schedule and what else I got going on, because as much as I want to pursue this and everything, this 100% is not a thing yet. If it will, and if it makes sense, I'll pull the trigger. Until then, I'll keep working on my craft. I'll keep investing in Bitcoin. I'll keep investing in all this other shit that I got going on, to where I have money to where I can keep doing this and not worry about money.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, man. Like, don't do if you people could see that, and that's another thing. Going back where I've been meeting musicians, same fucking thing. These guys are fucking making the beats, producing, making their videos, putting it out there on Spotify and YouTube, and ain't nobody watching their shit, and they're still fucking doing it because they want to do it.
Yeah.
That inspires me.
Yeah, and if you hear a lot of these stories of successful people, dude, they didn't get success overnight. It's shit that sometimes it's 5-10 years. Like, it's just about being consistent and being true to yourself and just doing it.
Yeah, because I've seen people like blow up, do it for money and doing different things, and then burn out. It's like, fuck this and do that. I've seen a lot of streamer people, generally, because that's where like my field where I came from, where I saw people that were when the highs were highs, it was amazing. When the lows are lows, that was it.
Yeah,
they weren't built, and it's not like like talking shit. It's just an observation. It's like some people might not be built for this. They think they might be built for it, and then they're not. You know what I mean? So I'm not discouraging people to try it, but just be realistic when you start doing certain things in the creative space. You know, like my son wants to like start making clips and stream and stuff and all that. I'm like, no, dude. As much as like I could put you and like he's a little sweat and playing games.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put my kid on a camera. I'm not gonna have my kid worrying about this kind of stuff. Like, this stuff you can do later in life. Let's have fun and be a kid.
Yeah, enjoy being a kid.
Yeah, enjoy playing games for the fun of playing games. Dude.
Yeah, because you see all these kids and all these kids and their parents, they're trying to put so much pressure on them to like make money, being creative or being on TikTok and doing all this bullshit. Like, I get it, but I mean, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you're gonna get burned out, or you're gonna expose yourself or your kids to things that you don't want to.
Yeah, and then your kids end up all fucked up. Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast. I had a little side project that I did too with another content creator homie. We had a podcast. We did 2 seasons. It was called Not Just Gamer Dads, and it was just another creator guy that I met. He lives in Atlanta, and we would play games together and kind of know each other. And we were like, oh, we're both dads. We're both trying to pursue this. He has kids. He has a wife, and he has a job, and we're still trying to do this. And then we were knowing each other for about 2 years, and then we're like, hey, he's like, I want to do something together, but we don't know what to do. And I was already doing the podcasting, and he wanted to do podcasting, and he already had kind of his show going. I was like, let's do a whole separate thing. And we sat and did a name, not just Gamer Dads. And we talked about parenting and video games and like different things, how you talk to your spouse or your partner about creating content and playing video games. So other people were watching us because of that, because they can relate to that. Not everybody could, but a lot of people in the creative space, they were like, oh my God, now I know how to talk to my wife. Now I know how to talk to my girlfriend. Or now I know like my kids and things like that. Like I didn't take that in consideration and that you guys brought it up. So I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when it makes sense to be collaborative with certain people, it makes sense, you know? So it's always cool to be able to do projects or small little things with people. It doesn't have to last forever. You know what I mean? Some people think like just because you do something with somebody, it has to last forever.
It's like a resume, you know. It's just another notch on the cap, and yeah, that's a cool thing about this space, and that's how I see it, dude. Because I'm trying to dive into like, I want to do like a bunch of shit, and I always say like, dude, it's just for a resume. It's like if somebody in the future asks me if I want to do this, I'm like, okay, I have this experience because I've done this before. So it's just cool, man. There's a lot of ways of going around it.
Yeah. And then meeting people and talking to people in certain spaces, you get ideas. Like, since I've been doing the videography thing, like, there were guys like, you getting paid for this? I'm all, nah. I'm like, what? I'm all, some guys like, you're building your profile. I was like, he's like, I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you keep doing these events. Yeah. You keep doing videos, and you're just building your profile. You're building your profile. And I was, portfolio, my bad. You're building your portfolio. Yeah. I'm like, I didn't think about it that way. Yeah. I never thought, I was just doing these videos and doing things because I wanted to do it. But I'm technically building my profile. So like, oh, what you guys have done? Well, I've done these events. These are the things that I've done. These are the projects. Oh, cool. That's dope. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah. You know, oh, we'd like to hire you to do this. I'm like, oh shit. All right, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The other day, I DM this person to, what's like a place. But anyways, I DM them to, if they want to shoot an episode for the pod. I'm trying to get people on for the future. And they're like, yeah, we're down to do this. And then they're like, so like, how much you guys charge? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, no, man, it's free.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, shit, I should have said like something.
Right? It's crazy. I've had somebody say, how much do you charge for podcasts?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's free. I'm like, well, I want to do one. But then they went back to like, oh, well, I'm not going to have this person on my platform just because they're going to pay me. Yeah. So I was like, oh, but it's an option.
Yeah. And dude, I've never thought about that till that moment where like, damn, I guess we do provide, because we have a pretty good audience. Like, I mean,
at some point it's some type of advertisement for them. So
yes.
I can see why or understand why they want to pay for it. But if anything, you could also look at it as a donation if they're like willing to pay. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's another.
We're not gonna charge you, but if you're wanting to help out, like help us improve our equipment and so forth, and like by all means, like $5, $10.
Should have said that.
Well, whatever, that's the thing too. Is like when I started, like I think like even just 4 episodes ago, I started adding like a little part of my intro to podcast. If you're interested in putting your business or your products, you know, I just started putting it out there. Nobody's hit me up yet, but I'm like, I feel confident enough that I have a decent platform, and like and I'm not gonna just say yes. I'll give you $100 if you talk about my tire shop. Your tire shop sucks. I'm not gonna just take your money and just put it on my platform.
Like, fuck your tires.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. How you were saying it, just like you have an audience, like you have a brand, and people will within reason, if you're promoting something or a business or something that makes sense to you. Yeah, they're like, all right, the 8-Town Talk guys were like talking about this. I'm gonna go check it out because they said it was pretty good.
Yeah, and it's also another way of like they're seeing something in the pod or whatever that we're doing that can help spread word about them. Yeah. So it goes back to advertisement.
Yeah. I'm just saying, within it, as long, like, if it's a win-win, because I wouldn't want to do things just for the money. You know what I mean? Because I can see how that can go good or bad. Yeah. So, like, within reason to, man, that's an option. If somebody says, hey, I want to give you 10 G's, and we're going to have you do all these podcasts and centered around all this stuff. If it makes sense, I might just do it. You know what I mean? But if it's like 10 G's and I'm going to be doing a bunch of clickbait shit and hot takes, that's not what I'm about. Yeah. Jimmy Duke's Gaming is not going to be about hot takes and talking about political or religious stuff or relationships. I'm not about that. You know what I mean? That's not this kind of stuff that I do. There's other shows that do that. There they are. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to just take money and just sell myself out for that. You know what I mean? I felt like I'm a certain way and I do things a certain things. I wouldn't want to stray away from what the hell I got going on just for money.
Yeah. Where do you see Jimmy Dukes Gaming in the next couple of years, man?
I don't know, man. I've had many versions and visions, but ultimately it all just goes to just, are you saying the consistency? As long as I'm still having fun doing whatever the hell I'm doing, I might not even do fights anymore. I might not even do jiu-jitsu anymore. I might just do photography. I might just do, short films. I don't know. Whatever it leads to me doing, as long as I'm creating content and having fun, I hope eventually in time I can make a living just doing this.
Yeah.
But until then, I'm enjoying the journey, man. It's fucking fun meeting people like you guys in the space and just shooting the shit and getting to know people that are pursuing things kind of how I am. It's cool because we can all kind of root from each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And I tell this to all the people I've had, even guests or other people. We don't have to be best friends. We don't have to have a hangout all the time, but just kind of seeing what's up with each other. Talking and keeping in each other's, keeping each other's lives. That's what's up. And I think I feel like this is the beginning of relationship and friendship that we can start talking and hanging out maybe eventually.
Watch some UFC.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And then that's what it's all about. I'm always looking to hang out and talk to like-minded positive people. You know what I mean? I'm too old and I don't have fucking time for anybody that doesn't have their shit together in life. I am sorry.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. I'm just like, if you got a lot of negative things that are not going good in your life, I'm protecting my peace. Like my friend, shout out to my boy Miko. He taught me that. You got to protect your peace.
Hell yeah.
If there's stuff going on over there and you're your family or whatever and it ruins what you got going on in your immediate circle, I can't be a part of that. So being like that for the past 3.5 years now, I've felt like I am just a superhuman. I keep getting better because I have less and less tolerance for bullshit and less tolerance for things that don't matter or make sense. So I don't need to waste my time on things that don't make sense. If it doesn't improve my quality of life, my family, my wife, or anything positive, then I don't need to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It really is.
Well said.
We're getting too old for this shit, dude.
Yeah, just like, I don't got time to go and hang out and bullshit. I don't have time for that. You know what I mean? I'd rather go fucking sit there and edit and let my eyes bleed and then put out a video than to go fucking bullshit and hang out with, stuff that's not good.
Yeah.
With your logo, since you're kind of, sounds like you're getting away from like the gaming stuff, are you going to end up getting the gaming out of it?
Bro, I had that question, like,
or just like JD Productions.
I liked how you said, I have a vision and I'll tell you guys off camera, but yeah, just that's one thing that the Jimmy Dukes Gaming is such a thing that's so close to my heart. And even though I'm doing different things, I think I'm just going to still keep the Jimmy Dukes Gaming because I feel like that's what got me started. And that's what helped me build the foundation for me being creatively and just being more comfortable in front of a camera and editing and stuff like that was the whole gaming thing. But eventually, I don't know. You know what I mean? Everybody knows me as Jimmy Duke, so
in a way, you could just keep it as a game because all this is not like it's a game, but
life is a game, dog.
It's getting you in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
different story modes.
Everything that you're saying, bro, I have thought of. I have thought of rebranding so much, but another thing that goes back to the whole social media thing because I know how the algorithms work and different things work. One big thing for me is like if I put Jimmy Dukes, there's quite a bit of Jimmy Dukes out there. But if you put Jimmy Dukes Gaming, there is only one Jimmy Dukes Gaming for every platform. Wow. So rebranding is kind of like it doesn't make sense for me. I'm not big enough to rebrand. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I've thought about that too because like my wife tells me, you're doing all this stuff that has nothing to do with gaming. So when people see gaming, they're gonna think that I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm like, when it makes sense, I'll change it. But until then, Jimmy Dukes Gaming for everything.
there's what's that dude Deji, KSI's brother. His thing is comedy shorts gaming, and he kept it and he's branched off of the gaming and he's done other things. So I think you could do it, man. It's part of you, like you said. It's who you are. We signed up to register like A-Town Talk as like a business and stuff, and we registered it as A-Town Talk Productions. And like we kept the talk in there, and it's like we could have just put A-Town Productions or whatever. But no, like we kept the talk because that's who we are.
Yeah. I think that goes back to you guys being proud of your guys' brand and what you guys got going on. Yeah. So like when it's like, oh, what's your handle? Jimmy Dukes Gaming. Jimmy Dukes Gaming. Yep, Jimmy Dukes Gaming. Look it up. It's the only one.
Yeah, and then you can shorten it with
That's why I do JDG,
JDG,
podcast.
yeah.
So they're like, oh, JDG. They don't care. Like, they don't know it's Jimmy Dukes Gaming. But that helps too, because I've thought about that. No, I've thought a lot of things, man. Every time somebody said something, either I thought about it or I put it in the back of my head. I'm like, cool. Now somebody else gave me an idea or thought of something like that I didn't think of. Yeah. So I'm really when people give me feedback or say certain things, I listen. I'm like, I'll listen. If it doesn't make sense, I'm like, all right, cool. I heard that. That's cool. Like, you know what? I have thought about that. Oh, I haven't thought about that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's how you grow.
Yeah, hell
that's
yeah,
how you
man.
grow. All right, man. Before we wrap up, I got one final question. John Jones versus Miocic. Who do you got?
Man, John Jones is going to blow through Miocic, unfortunately. As much as I like Miocic hasn't fought in years. He's way older. You know, Bones is even, like, you might not like him outside the cage, but that fool's an animal.
He is.
Simple as that. What he's going to do, and I'm calling it now, he's going to beat Miocic. Then Tom Aspinall is going to say, well, I want to fight the champ. And Jones is going to say, no, I want to fight Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is going to come up to heavyweight.
I just saw a thing like that today, actually.
Yep.
But I feel like he might just retire after that point.
Well, if he were, he either gets an Alex Pereira fight right away or he retires. Because as much as people don't like it, he doesn't have to fight Tom Aspinall. He can just retire. I beat the best heavyweight of all time. I was the best lightweight. I beat the best heavyweight. I have nothing else to prove and quit. Because I was a big fan of GSP. Was George St. Pierre was my favorite. He retired at the top of his game. You know, when he came back to get that middleweight from Bisping, it made sense to him to come back and get that fight in. But after that, he has nothing to prove. So you don't have to fight the young, hungry guy. You know what I mean? Like, as much as, like, you might not like Jones personally, that fool's an animal in the cage. And I think he's going to take care of Miocic. And if he gets that Alex Pereira fight, it would be fun.
I think that would be, like...
That would be bigger than Aspinall.
No, but even then, just, like, that'd probably be the biggest selling pay-per-view.
Yes,
ever
for sure.
The UFC,
over
for sure.
Conor. That's a whole... Conor, like, is off on the deep end. Like,
you think Conor will fight again?
Nah. If he does, it has... Right now, what they have to do is that... And this... I can go hold on to it, but they're keeping him on the roster because they're getting ready for they had to do the TV contracts again. ESPN is ending, so if you have a Conor fight coming up, you're more inclined to get a bigger deal. You know what I mean? So that's why they were holding off to get that Chandler fight for so long, because it was going to sell big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's ever going to come back at this point. They have to give him somebody he could probably beat, or it's exciting because he's not going to be a champ ever again.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Very unlikely.
Yep.
So,
but Chandler looked fucking ripped, dude.
Oh man,
Chandler Oliveira.
He's been, he's been training for 3 years for this fucking fight.
Yeah.
But also, does that hurt him because he hasn't fought? I know he's training, but there's a difference between training and actual fighting.
Well, Chandler also too, because I'm a big MMA guy. Chandler's like, he's already at the end of his career, so that's why he was holding off. That was a check.
Yeah.
That was a check. That was a check. So he was banking on that. He's not going to be a champ. He already knows. He's fought some of the top 5 guys in the UFC, and he's been knocked out by Gaethje and Oliver. You know what I mean? So he knows that was a money fight. So for him not to take a fight was a business decision. Now it's kind of like, I need to get, this check. You know what I mean? But that makes this fight that he's going to have makes sense. But when you're training for 3 years,
that's going to be a good one.
That shit's going to be wild.
Yeah. I think Pereira right now is probably like the hottest fighter in the UFC, dude. That fucker. Chama, dude. That fucker's... He's crazy, dude. But he's one of those fighters where he understands. He's like, I got a limited amount of time left. I got to milk this shit.
And he already said when somebody was pulling out from a fight, he's like, hey, y'all sign me up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you like, for those guys, like, you got to strike when the fucking... It's hot.
Yeah.
And he knows that. He's not a spring chicken, but at the same time, he knows that he has a puncher's chance against anybody in any weight class. He went from middle to lightweight, and he's a heavyweight walking around anyways. Yeah. You let him let him lift weights and eat, then he's gonna just be not as big as John Jones, but he's gonna be sizable.
Yeah.
With him.
He's taller than John Jones, but like
they're about the same height.
Yeah.
6'3".
They have the same body frame. Yeah. Jones has like skinny legs.
The only thing is Jones has got that wrestling background, and I think he will ragdoll.
Yeah.
Pereira.
Yeah, when he did that to what's the French guy?
Cyril Gane?
Yeah, Cyril Gane. I thought Cyril Gane was gonna go in there wipe him, But yeah, I was like, that was that easy. This fucking crackhead, damn.
Yeah, there's levels of John Jones. His shorts look dope though. Did you see the picture of his
Yeah,
shorts?
it looked crazy.
His shorts look
I'm
dope.
excited to see that shit.
That's gonna be a good fight, dude. Did you guys watch Brandon Moreno this last
November
weekend?
16th.
Yeah,
I
next
think so.
weekend.
Next weekend.
I did see the Brandon look
He got
amazing.
down, dude. He was.
We need to, you know what we could do? We need to do like a fucking
Like a watch party?
a companion.
Yeah.
So we're just watching the fights and just talking shit like that because you guys watch it enough too. Because I always say this, and all my homies that know me, like I always say, "There's good fights." My wife's all, "When isn't there?"
Yeah.
But these last fight nights have been good.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, Moreno just was tagged. He looked good. He wasn't smiling.
No,
he was
sharp.
like he needed that time off to come back to like, all right, this is his second run.
Yeah.
And he pieced him up.
I love that dude. That dude, when he won the championship, dude, the first time, that was one of the crazy. I was watching it at one of my buddies, Jermaine's house. Dude, we were all fucking jumping around and cheering. That was like one of the coolest moments in UFC.
Por la raza.
Yeah. So I think but dude, that's also like a tough division.
Yeah. That 125ers.
Yeah, they're fucking killers.
No,
Fucking dope, dude.
Yeah. But it's some good fights, dude. I get excited.
I'm a nerd. I could sit there and talk about fights forever.
We have a group chat just specific for it. Started off as like UFC memes and just UFC stuff, and now it's just random shit. But
Yeah. I thought it always ends up.
yeah.
To you and Olivas, really.
But we still like when there's a fight night, we're like messaging like, "Hey, you watching the fight?"
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's what's up, man.
Cool, man. Well, Jimmy, thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah, man.
This is a hell of a pod. Definitely needed it. Anything you want to plug before we end it?
I mean, my name is Jimmy Dukes. Just a creator, man. One thing I always say, man, I'm just living life and creating dope content. If you want to check me out, Jimmy Dukes Gaming on all platforms. I do video games. I do podcasts. I've been vlogging, covering combat sports. So, I mean, I do a little bit of everything. You know, some people follow me for one thing or another thing, not for everything. But if you want to check me out, check me out. But other than that, I appreciate you guys having me on and even considering to have you guys on your guys' platform. And I love what you guys got going on in here. I keep doing your thing, man, for real.
Cool, man. No, thank you for the time. Yeah, and you're welcome back anytime. We'll definitely. I would want to do like a watch party.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
So follow him. Make sure you like his shit. Subscribe to his channel.
20 cameras and shit. Man.
Yeah, all the cameras.
Hell yeah.
The other one died a while ago. But thanks for watching, guys. This is this episode. Actually, Raleigh, last words.
No.
No. Okay. There we go. I knew he was gonna say no, but
I don't.
Just gotta.
One of these days, dude. One of these days,
One of these days, you're gonna bust out with like a fucking speach.
Right. I've been waiting.
And it's gonna be a whole extra hour of just Raleigh.
Right. All those beers that I brought and shit. Hell yeah, man.
It's a lot of beers.
Right?
It's a lot of beers, dude. All right, guys. So we're out of here. Peace out.
Peace
Thank
out.
you.
Appreciate y'all.